Hey, welcome to the Mesh Ball Grade. My name is Andre. How's it doing this morning, this evening? It's usually one of the two. There's no other options. It is currently the final day of September 2021. It is the 30th. It is a Thursday evening around my parts. How's everyone doing? I'm doing okay. I biked. I went on a bike ride today. I haven't done that in a long time. And I just kept going back and forth on a trail. And I biked way too much and my legs hurt. And I'm worried that I'm going to sit here for a couple hours. We're going to have some nice time together. And then I'm going to have to stand up and go somewhere. And I'm going to collapse. And Maddie will be asleep because it gets late. I won't know what to do. I have a carpet though. Like it's not a hardwood floor. There's a rug on top of it, so it won't be too bad. Yeah, I'll be fine, I guess. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. We have a stream this evening. Copper, how's it going? Thursdays or Friday morning, Macaroni, how you doing? Raketa, I actually caught you this as it was just going live for once. The beginning of the stream is the best part because it's the part that on the VOD people skip because they're trying to figure out when the theme tune ends and when the actual stream starts. So this is the part that we really get to air our grievances and just kind of go really off the rails, and no one, like, there's just no accountability that's necessary because no one else hears it. It's great. So everyone say something that makes you really happy. Let's do that one. Actually, that seems like a better tone. Giles, happy Friday. How's it going? Welcome. Glad you can make it. Wink, also, orange shirt. All orange shirt is true. This is by design. It's a holiday today in Canada. It's a first time this holiday has existed. Not really a holiday in my parts of Canada, but today is, what is the actual name? The Day of Truth and Reconciliation. So this is a holiday, a federal holiday that was put into law just earlier this summer, if I'm not mistaken, even in June. We've had a lot of conversation this year in Canada about the sort of atrocities that have been happening for the last 100 years at residential schools across Canada, and just the systemic mistreatment, some people would even say genocide to some extent, of First Nations people. So this is now a federal holiday, and certain provinces along Canada will support this fully and actually get a day off. I know federal institutions, banks, the Post, they all have the day off today. Quebec, I don't think does it. I think it's like Manitoba, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, maybe. They're the only provinces that, like, on a provincial level, have it as a statutory holiday. But it's a day in which you're meant to reflect and to think about all the stuff that's going on. A lot of people are wearing orange. I own orange clothing, which is a nice surprise. But this is the first year that this has happened, and so there's a lot of conversation this year about what's been happening. A lot of stuff has kind of been unearthed. If you don't know what's going on, I would definitely recommend you to take a look into it. It is admittedly pretty horrific, but it's good that people are talking about it. Obviously, that's kind of the point, huh? This is good energy to start on. Elwin, how's it going? Good evening. Hey, how you doing? Dane. Hola, how's it going? Sleep stream. Whoa, don't come at twilight like that. How's it going? Enjoying my rainy morning on the couch. That does seem quite pleasant. Huge news for me this week was my print order NPC this week. I'll finally have a full physical set of every Netrunner card. Wait, like every of all time, or every like startup card? Both of those are actually pretty impressive. Congrats. SMH, people not enjoying the tunes from your intro. They've heard them before. I need to add more tunes, more what's it called, more consistently. I was thinking about that. We were listening to the music and I was like, it's about time, because we generally only add more music when it's when we do a video or something like that. Matita, nothing wrong. I'm Ben Scorp. My bunny makes me happy. Heck yeah. Hello, Andre. Yo, Pouch, how's it going? Welcome. Did you actually get today off? No, by no means did I get today off. It's not Quebec does not make this like a statutory holiday. I guess it's up to some businesses to do it. I was reading online, certain places will give it off to their staff and say things like, okay, we're going to have someone come in and speak, who a representative from like First Nations communities, or like, we're going to support this and somehow, and then give you the day off. And I think that's probably the best way to do it. But no, wear orange, play anarch. Yeah. It is a very mindful holiday. Your Umbra hoodie. I have an uncle in Canada. He used to work in the backdrops for Robin and Jerry. And he worked on the actual film strips they used. What's Robin and Jerry? Like Tom and Jerry is the only thing I know. Bought all the data packs I could find legit, proxies for the rest. The order was full, all of Katara's. I go, oh, sick. Was that like the Katara project where people were doing their like altered versions of Katara? Because Katara Cycle, mind you, was the final FFG cycle, and it had a very limited print run. Same for Rain and Reverie, the deluxe expansion, and they're good cards. They're really good cards, but it's really hard. Yeah, Tom and Jerry. Okay. I didn't know Tom and Jerry came from Canada. Really? You titled the stream Braindance, and I half expected this stipendium song of the same name related to Cyberpunk 2077, and it's very good. I don't know that song. I know Braindance is a thing from the Cyberpunk world. I still haven't got to playing that game, the 2077 video game. I think I'm waiting to get a new graphics card at some point. We're still running a 1080 Ti, which, I guess it's a couple generations behind, but it definitely plays video games pretty well. But I think I'll wait for it, and also obviously patches and stuff. Wayne, hello, how's it going? I wonder if there would be a First Nation Canadians in the new Borealis set. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Well, excuse me. We've had some First Nations representation, Chris, already in Netrunner. Liza Talking Thunder, if I'm not mistaken, was a First Nations person. Whether we get more, considering like, you know, technically Canada has provinces, but we also have something called territories. What's the difference between a territory and province? I'm a Canadian. I literally don't know. But we have, if I'm not mistaken, 10 provinces, which are generally all the stuff that borders America. And then once you get up to the Arctic Circle, they're generally, what are they called? We just knew the name. Territories. In fact, one of the territories is younger than me. I think we made Nunavut the territory in like 2000, 2004, sometime in that window. It was like, it used to be just the Northwestern Territories and it split into Northwestern Territories and Nunavut. I'd be happy to see, you know, the people who actually live in that area above the Arctic Circle and what have you. There's a lot of people. There's a obviously rich culture of folk living up there. Also, the term Eskimo, mind you, is technically a very insensitive term. I guess some people might know that term. We used to have a CFL team called the Edmonton Eskimos. CFL is the NFL in Canada. Oh, Canada is so charming. I think the Eskimos actually changed their name because people were like, maybe don't do that, and they did change their name. What are the Edmonton Eskimos now called? That's technically I'm from Edmonton by birth, not by culture. Eskimos renamed. I don't know what they're called. Elks. Sick. Yo, the CFL is like, there's some parts of it that like, okay, NFL people think a big deal. The CFL is hard not to kind of laugh at it for some extent, like the CFL, and not like the quality of the play. They have technically slightly different rules, but the CFL has 9 teams. Out of 9 teams for a while, 2 of them had the same name. There's 9 teams in the CFL, and 2 of them were convinced they have to be the Rough Riders. One of them put a space in the middle, one didn't. How can you not laugh at that? That is comedy gold. Anyways, I don't honestly know how the CFL works. Wait, what? That can't be real? You was saying what? The Rough Riders? It was real. They changed. They did change. I think one of them's now the Blue Bombers or something. I honestly don't know how CFL works. I think their field is bigger, their ball is bigger, but I think it's only 3 downs for a try or whatever they call in football. I haven't played football in a long time. Andre, last Sunday you mentioned you wanted a Steam controller. If I can find my transponder for it, I'd happily send you one. Mostly not. Dang, that would be amazing. I would be so down. That actually would be huge. I appreciate that. I've been looking for them and they're kind of hard to find. They're very hard to find, in fact. I know my brother who, I was going to buy him one for a Christmas present and then his wife bought him one. And I was like, now this is my problem. He has 2 and he's like also like, oh, I hope these never break because they're so hard to replace. They hired him for the backdrops, then sent him out. I guess it was a hard thing to bring him over. Okay, interesting. Gonna be jumping in and out of the stream for a bit. Have to my weekly draft league game. Yo, Solmir, good luck with that. Highly recommend the song when you get a few minutes. His lyrical flow is amazing and the subject matter is very poignant at the current day as well as being cyberpunk. The song is called Brain Dance? Australia has states and territories. I don't know what the distinction is either. I think it might be a population thing, but also I think it could be a governmental thing. Like provinces have provincial government. I think the territorial government is probably different. I'm sorry, this cannot be true. Listen, we have 2 different professional baseball teams named after the color of socks. Yo, but those are good. Everyone loves the Red Sox, at least. They're an institution. How's it going, Jim? But I'm telling you, the Rough Riders, CFL, there were 2 teams. Okay, Saskatchewan Rough Riders, and then there was another one with a space in it, or a hyphen or something. This is real. Yeah, the Ottawa Rough Riders. There was 9 teams. I think there even might have been 8 teams back then. And we had 2 teams with the same name. It's absolute parody of itself. How do the commentators manage when they play each other? I honestly want to find an old VOD of Rough Riders versus Rough Riders to see what the heck anyone did. They probably just said Ottawa versus Saskatchewan. Rough Riders was what Theodore Roosevelt called his cavalry unit too. Weird to hear that used Canadian team. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yo, Wendigon, how's it going? Oh, Bazza, you knew. It's the Ottawa Rough Riders. Of course you know. Yeah. Ottawa Pride. Okay. On the subject of Knicks, it's short for Knickerbockers, so you know. I knew that actually. I used to be, well, excuse me, my father's really into basketball, and like I got into basketball when I was a kid, like the era where the Bulls and the Jazz were still relevant. So like learning all the names and all the logos was really fun. So I still think there's like teams called like the Hornets, and I'm still stuck in that mindset where there's a bunch of teams that don't exist anymore. I wonder if it was a thing where one team split into two and both claimed to be real Rough Riders. There's like sketch comedy things of like somebody, you know, like, what are you going to name your team? I think it might be Royal Canadian Air Force. And the guy's like, Rough Riders. He's like, we have one. Name something else. Okay, Rough Riders. And he's just so amped up about it. I don't know. Then they went away and brought them back in, and an amazing failure imagination renamed them the Red Blacks. We had a CFL team called the Red Blacks. Huh. Take that. All the NFL teams that just have one color, like the Browns. Great. This is not CFL, is it? Yes, it is CFL. Okay. Argonauts is a good name for a team. Out of all the CFL teams, Alouettes, it's okay. Tiger Cats, fine. Argonauts it's a good name. I think that's the best name out of the CFL teams, besides Rough Riders twice over. He calls the song Data Stream, I bet. Okay, cool. Yeah, if I may provide the link. I don't know, Ken. A lot of times you're not able to. Sports stream today. A lot of times you just can't put links on YouTube. It eats them. Red Blacks is a very unfortunate combo of colors to pick. It's not the nicest combination. The Hornets actually really exist, Bruno? They do? Wait, what? Okay, sorry. We're going to get off sports for a while. I'm not a big sports guy. This is like the extent of sports. I don't. Most of it is... Charlotte Hornets are back? My sports knowledge is relevant again. Yeah, because they stopped being a thing in 2002, apparently. Oh, that's awesome. Good. You just learned one thing 20 years ago, and then hope it's still true by happenstance. The All Blacks want you to know that none are more black. No other colors can be contemplated as a sign of weakness. Is the All Blacks a real team? That sounds like a rugby team. Surprise personal team. I'll do a sweep at my house and let you know. Never played with them much, so happy to ship it up. That'd be so cool, Dane. I appreciate that. That's amazing. They were the Bobcats for a while. I heard that name for a bit. That's my city. Heck yeah that they're back. They became the Hornets again while I got season tickets. Jim, are you happy? What's the read on this city about changing from Bobcats to a creature that's obviously much smaller, but I'd argue maybe more insidious? Okay, it is a New Zealand rugby team. I know so much about sports. This is going good. All Blacks are from my country. Hell yeah. Okay, we can't talk about. We're not playing sports metal today. We've outsportsed ourselves. We have all, as a group of people, have outsportsed ourselves last month, right? Like, we have to take time off of sports. We've all agreed we're not going to be sportsing for a while. I say that, but I'm going to be booting up a Max deck, but I have no control over this. I wish Geist could come back from my free my boy. He did nothing wrong, allegedly. Geist is fine. Eric's just chanting sports, sports, sports. Is there nothing else? There must be something else. Eric, okay, so Whiteblade's in chat, and we were talking about a deck, and Eric had like a really fun idea for a deck, and then I say, can I play that on stream? And he said no. And this, maybe I should not have asked, you know, like ask for forgiveness instead of asking for permission sort of thing, because it seems like a fun deck. What deck idea? I can't say it without ruining it. We were talking about it. It was a Wayland deck, if that helps. Just allude to it generically. It was a Wayland deck with a kill package where you fork the runner into a no... What's that thing from Star Trek where you get the ship? Play it on stream? Okay, we'll do it later. Okay, I got permission. We're good. He says it's really good. There's also Asa and 419. Yep. Yeah, those exist. Yep. One of the good old Jinteki Glacier. I think we were going to do startup Jinteki Glacier. I'm not a big believer in Jinteki Glacier modernly because I'm convinced don't have the cards to support it, and it looks like they don't have the cards to support it. That being said, we are playing Jinteki Glacier today. I should have started with this. I am so stoked. It's why the stream's named after to play this deck that Changeling posted that came first in a store championship. This looks really cool. But like playing Polana, I don't know. This looks really fun. But we're going to start here, and we're going to do this one. And after we do this one, we're going to go do the other one. Harpsichord plus complete image, go. Kobayashi Maru. It is Kobayashi. Yes. Harsa Chandra Diogen. You're right. We should get back to that at some point. He has so many cool builds and he's a lot of counters, but he was fun. Copper, I don't know in reference to. Excuse me. Geist is still here. He's just an as-shaped box. I've heard that Geist as is the thing. What's the deck back in 2013 or so the Wizard one? I'm not sure. I think I missed something there. Here, I'm going to import this real quick. It should be up on Keyhole if you want to watch it in the on Twitch. You can see the deck list. But I guess we should talk about this. So this is Longy's playing a version that was very much based off of Bridgman's version that they played at the Continentals, if not Intercontinentals. And I think we saw a lot of people play this sort of shell. It's a max deck, and we've seen 2 big max decks during the Continental seasons. One of them were on the Virus package, which is a bit trickier to play. And then this is on 3 of Apocalypse. And you just want to blow their board up. And then you have access to cards like Stargate, and then you can hopefully close the game out. Now, this deck is slightly different than the version that was played before. I think the other version, if I'm not mistaken, didn't run 3 copies of Deuces Wild, and instead ran an Aesop's Pawn Shop, which is just a nice card that you can keep in your hand to help recover from a board in which you Apocalypse yourself, and then all your cards are installed face down. This deck decided for Deuces Wild, and specifically, if I'm not mistaken, Longy said that in their GNK meta, they were expecting a lot of yellow, and they ended up playing against entirely NBN. And just having, this card is almost always universally good, but being able to like gain 2 credits or draw 2 cards and then remove a tag is honestly one of the best ways to play this card, as long as you obviously have a tag to remove. It actually becomes an immensely powerful card. So this was a cool meta read, and it looked like it paid off handsomely, so well done on that. Otherwise, if you know how these decks lists work, you can go very aggressively for your Apocalypse, for your win condition. You dig really deep with moshing, get some more money. We're starting to play cards like Overclock pretty heavily in Anarch decks, and it's so easy to play just because we have all our heap breakers that we install as we go. So the fact is you never pay 4 credits for a paperclip, you just pay, what's it called, an Overclock. On top of that, we've Out of the Ashes. This is a nice tech card. This is the non-brain damage influence version, so that if you have to deal with a Chrysium Grid or a border control or, I don't know, AgInfusion, heaven forbid, you have ways to deal with it. And then the only thing I don't understand in this deck is what's with this? Why is this in here? Is this good enough? Is this a card you can play? Because I would assume that in the slot, we could probably just play like a Wildcat Strike, which admittedly would just be a money card. But what is this about? I honestly don't know. Because this card, we don't have any support for it. So it's a pretty slow asset, or not asset, like an economic asset in the abstract sense. Because you get this down, it's giving you like, you know, it's kind of like a daily cast that they can purge through. But you also have to click to use it. So I don't know. We'll find out. Andre, updated Arkham core sets are out tomorrow. They'll be including new art for old cards, incorporating good cards across the set. You picking one up? I don't know. I have so much Arkham stuff. I own like 4 core sets, like original core sets, and I didn't buy all of them. They just kind of came through the apartment. And like, I like the idea. I don't need the storage space because it comes with a storage solution, but I have all the return to box, so that's not interesting to me. It has more versions of cards that get played pretty commonly, like Charisma, but Charisma is a singleton. You don't generally play 2 of them. Some decks do. So I'm torn. The art looks really good, but it's also like $70. I don't know. I feel like I might. We've been keen to try startup no breaker archetype, beating a dead horse here. Kind of. I know you're the virus deck that you posted, right? I think that is worth playing. So thankful that my brother got me into Netrunner when I came back in 2012. Have all the sets thankfully, but kind of want to try out Eternal with the new rules. I'd recommend it. It's quite fun. Send Dia Jemison killing by Resin Clearinghouse at the start of turn when it had 0 advancements at the end of the runner turn. I think we haven't not played enough Jemison this whole year. Trick the Corp into purging. Yeah, maybe. Start for the new season Taskmaster. UK, I haven't looked at the cast list yet. It's almost caught up. We're watching New Zealand right now. The new series has a really good cast. It has one of the guys who's like, this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to know, but it has one of the guys who is very consistently on one of the other panel shows. And then the only other person I knew by name was, I think she's like a professional poker player. I think she's married to David Mitchell, I think. Or David Mitchell's married to her. That's the more empowering way to say that, right? If the core purges that virus, isn't that really a win for you? Yeah, but they shouldn't, and they generally don't. A lot of the decks, though, that do purge are decks that purge because they have Cyberdex Virus Suite, because they're purging anyways because they have Sandbox scored, or they have, like, Macrophage. Very few corps would, like, spend a whole turn to deny you 6 credits. That just doesn't seem winning, especially when you have this sort of, like, threat in your deck. Eternal, I think, is GOAT format. I don't know if there's been any decisions about rebalancing after the last tournament. SPL 2-1 11 waiting room over here. But if the cast are fine for me. Okay, cool. Hoping your opponent plays poorly is a very it's a very powerful strategy. Did you see James A. Caster was doing Castmaster? Love that dude. He did it a long time ago. James A. Caster did it like maybe 5 seasons ago, and he's very good. It was a very good season. James A. Caster is quite funny, man. Very quite funny, man, yes. Okay, we've been talking too much. Math Heath and Ursula Carlson from Taskmaster, I think you're referring to. Yeah, that's the modern series right now. The New Zealand one, which has been really good. New Zealand Taskmaster. Okay, I promise you we'll play Netrunner, but New Zealand Taskmaster, we watched the first season and it was obviously the first time they did it. And it started off really rough. It was really rough. It was like a weird tone. The host didn't have the sort of command that the Taskmaster requires. One of the guys on the show, I really didn't care for one of the contestants. And at the end of the season, it turned around so hard. That guy became kind of likable at the end, but then the host really found his spot. And so far, the second series of Taskmaster New Zealand has been one of the best seasons of Taskmaster, New Zealand or not, period. It's been really good. It's kind of harder to find because it's not on YouTube. You have to go to Reddit. You can find it. Also, Miss from IT Crowd did it. She was pretty great as well. Oh yeah, no, she's amazing. What's her name? Kate, I think. Kate. Ah, Jesus, Eric. She was one of my favorites. She was very quickly embarrassed. She's also like, she's known from IT Crowd, but from my understanding, she's like a quite renowned like stage or theater actor, if I'm not mistaken. Kate P, something like that, right? She's lovely. Hey man. Okay, so CTM, this is good. Obviously the tags are difficult for us because we're trying to destroy their board. If we float one tag, we're sometimes weak to things like exchange. Close accounts isn't a thing. Opening hand, we don't really want to open with Rebirth. Dirty Laundry is actually kind of nice for checking assets so that if they install something, we can check it. I don't know what kind of CTM deck this could be. I imagine this actually might be closer to like a kill list. The sort of stuff you would see Spags play, and I forget, somebody else championed this in the Continental season who was playing this really well. Otherwise, like this opening hand's okay. We could always Dirty Laundry, not trash until Liberated, and that seems okay, albeit a bit slow. I don't love opening with Rebirth, but I feel like we can go worse than this. I knew New Zealand humor can come across weird to some people and often awkward. I don't think it's that. Like, I don't think that the humor didn't land. I think they were just uncomfortable because they didn't know what they were doing and they hadn't like gotten to the groove yet. But like, I've grown up on, and I'm not saying that British comedy is like that similar to New Zealand comedy, but like that's classically been my stuff. Okay, we're just gonna check this. If we check this, no one's running Wombat virtual tour, right? It's a Rashido, we may consider trashing it. It's a bankers group, so we probably have to trash that. The problem is if we trash this, did Eric mulligan? He mulligan, so he might not have HPT. If we trash this, we can float a tag. And then we can check what server one is. If it's Rashido, we'll trash it gladly. No, we'll probably just click for credits. Kill often's on MVT. You think so? Like, Sengren, what's the difference between MVT and Prisec? Because I feel like I like Prisec way more. It is a Rashido, okay? So I'm glad we trashed everything. There's a chance a hard-hitting news will come here. I'm just going to click up to 6 to make it a bit more difficult. How many clicks do we have? We have 4 clicks. This is going to be an interesting evening. We had to discuss how many clicks we have. Gonna get some din-din. Good luck with the game. Thank you, Copper. We'll be here for a couple hours. Enjoy your dinner. Oh, that's the punishment. Planogram. Right. Draw 3, gain 3. I've never... I guess those do come together pretty often. Porque lo dos, but also legitimately it's a bigger swing. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, unless you die on the spot. Yeah, he got us Rashida anyways. Get wrecked. Ah, boy. So we also lost the Deuces Wild, which would be nice. So we have 5 tags. So like we could dodge Boom. At this point, I think we're just a tag me runner. Like I think we can just go tag me. Because he doesn't have the money to Boom unless it's like perfectly planogram into Boom. So we'll just start hitting stuff, I guess. Lee Hart from season 1 is very awkward, but has some amazing comedy. Look up Lee Hart speed cooking on YouTube. I don't know if I know which one Lee Hart is. Oh yeah, Lee Hart was funny. Lee Hart was funny. I'm not gonna trash that. I'm gonna run HQ, trash a Boom, and then trash it. I think we actually will consider putting it in Liberated and just hitting this button. So he can trash it if he wants for 2, which will obviously very much slow him down so that he can't boom us. We have no way of like removing his credits. There he did it, which is, I think we're fine with that. We can start hitting HQ here. We have to watch out whether, if we top deck a Stargate, we're in an okay spot because 1 credit, you can't really res much besides like paper resistor or vanilla. And I don't think resistor is a real thing. Yeah, so that's actually really quite good for us. So we can start here. Unfortunately, there's a spin doctor on the table. So I'm going to hit the undo click button. We have to trash this first, because stargating with a spin doctor on the table would be very incorrect. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So now we can like control a bit of like what they draw. Obviously, we can stop. There is Mumbai Virtual. Oh, they're trying to kill us. I don't want the pad campaign, I don't think. And we can probably just run HQ here. We could consider rebirthing at some point into like Edward Kim to start trashing operations. I really want the card draw at this point. It's a Bellona. Do we steal this? I don't think it's going anywhere anytime fast. I don't think we'll steal it. Take it? I don't know. I don't want to. I really don't want to. Unless they market forces us. Like, it's not going to be too bad. Like, it's not going to go anywhere. Like, now we can overclock into it. We also want to get our paperclip into the bin so we can overclock into this. If it's an IP block, it's fine, but we'll Stargate. I don't know what this could be. That could be bad for us. Yeah, it's an IP block, which is fine. We'll take a tag. Now they're back on 1 credit. And then we want to just get our paperclip into the bin. So I think we'll draw once here. Oh, that's good too. Now we can like Dirty Laundry HQ. We're not going to be able to steal the Bellona. We could consider even like overclocking HQ for the Bellona if we see like multiple. It's a virtual tour. I guess we knew about that. So I can click for a credit here. We can even install the daily cast, but I really want to get the paperclip in the bin. So at least if we overclock this, like we'll get an access. We do know the top card right now is a pad campaign. So we'll just get this thrown out. Rebirth into Eddie might be good to deal with any mana green death. Yeah, I think we'll do it eventually. I just really very much value the card draw at this point. Okay, so that's the Mumbed Virtual Tour on HQ. That is definitely going to be that. So we want to hit the Bellona from HQ sooner. That's for sure. We'd have to get pretty lucky. We know that that's probably the pad campaign, which we also could consider overclocking the pad campaign. That would be interesting. We could Deuces Wild first. I think that's fair. Because if we might overclock HQ just to get rid of the, what's it called? Oh, I was meant to draw cards there first. Yeah, we'll overclock HQ first. Oh, actually, this is interesting because they can't trash this. Can overclock HQ? Yeah, I think we're going to. Because then we can use these credits to deal with the Mumbed and the Bellona in theory. Oh, man. Oh, geez. Whoops. Forgot to use it. Good. Okay. So we know there's another in there. We could always Dirty Laundry into here and then last click put down a Fermenter. I think that's fine. There are 3 fresh cards on the top of R&D. I want him to res the daily the pad campaign just so he actually loses money on it. And we'll steal the Bellona if we hit it here with the Laundry. Jesus. Okay. This will slow him down, I reckon. He'll spend 2 on that. It's a pad campaign. There's no way he's not going to trash this cast. Oh, we're meant to put the Fermenter down, not the casts. Oy, I forgot what we were doing there for a second. Okay, great. So he's on no money. I think we don't have to do anything too quickly. I think we're just going to actually install the liberated accounts, hit the liberated accounts, hit the liberated accounts, and trash the pad campaign. Because he has to spend his whole turn trashing this, which I think we're fine with. We also could consider getting the Fermenter down and rebirthing into Freedom and just using these tokens to start trashing stuff. Oh, wow, he left it. Okay. So we can actually rebirth into Freedom and start trashing like Mumbed Virtual Tour for free. That actually might be correct. I think this might be better than Edward Kim. I'm going to do it. We haven't drawn any draw cards, which is like pretty upsetting. But we're going to do it. This keeps our money up. So Freedom lets us trash things when we access. And we can spend 0 virus counters to trash the, what's it called? The thing that costs 0s. The MBT. So we'll steal that. We'll Freedom that. So he's on 3 credits, so we still have to keep running HQ here. Because if he has the boom, we lose. It's an IP block. Yeah, we might lose here if he has the boom in hand. Fermenter will help you with Freedom. Yeah, this will be like our... Fuck, he had it. Damn it. Damn. Yeah, I think clicking to 3 was too much of a tell. Should have gone in again. Yeah, I think we knew it was in there. Oh, no. Oh. top deck the second one. Okay, so I think clicking to 3 and not trashing this was like very obvious that he had the kill in hand. But oh my god, floating a single tag was actually really bad. I think we learned a lesson. The single tag was this is probably 3 of planogram in the deck. You generally that's one way to put it. Gonna work better with fermented down possibly. Yeah, with fermented would be good. But we weren't in the worst spot. Obviously, they have 2 boom. They even might have an archive memories. Hey, you too, man. But we could have come back from that. We'd have to probably steal another Bologna because this deck I think has a much worse scoring pattern. It actually might be on 3 Bologna and then even food on top of it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, if we can hold him down, it'd be okay. But apparently a double boom there, so yikes. No amount of deuces wild is gonna help you out for 5 tags. I'll run it back. All right. AgInfusion, this is a problem. AgInfusion is a really strong ability because this can basically reroute a run. And if they reroute a run, they can make it so it's very hard for us to apocalypse them. This is a very tricky matchup. Our opening hand has an I've had a worse, which is really good if we want to face tank some of the early net damage cards. We don't have to worry about Engram Flush, which isn't technically net damage, but if we hit an Anansi or a Saisantan, this is generally okay. MK Ultra 2 is a good thing to get done early, and we just have sure gamble casts. This might actually be the deck that we're playing next, Regolith Quest, and I don't think it's a particularly quick deck. This deck actually, yeah, it's running a lot of 5/3s and only 1 Nisei Mark II, so it might actually be a bit slower. I sent the Wayland deck via Discord. Oh, awesome. Thanks, man. I'll check that out. Good game. Been loving me some Clearinghouse AgInfusion? That is, you're asking for a lot. GG. Yeah, man. Yo, Eric, do you think you can float a tag against CTM now, or is it too difficult with the planogram? Because I'm very used to floating a single tag and being okay. Another big thing about this deck is once they res 1 big scary ice, then it's very difficult for us to run. Because as soon as we run, they revert us onto the big ice. So we want to make sure that they don't get something resed cheaply and quickly. Which is one of the big reasons why this deck is also running Divert Power, which has a lot of value. I think like you're an APOC deck. Okay, we got access to another paperclip, lost 2 moshings. So I think we can just set up here, sure gamble with the daily cast. I don't think I want to hit the iPad worst button because I love to get this for free by either stealing an Obakata or doing a mid-run. I think that's a lot better for us. It prevents us from dying. This also could be like a punitive deck. There's a lot of ways to do this. It has 17 influence, which is a lot to work with. So we're going to drop once here. And now if we hit both of these, I think we're going to hit it 1 more time. And now we can play both of these and be able to throw out a card. I'm going to value throwing out the MK Ultra. Not that we want to be able to break, not that we want to pay for an Anansi, but it gives us the option. Running early is like a major way to lose, so you don't need to contest early. Depends on if you had other econ in hand. Oh, interesting. You think you'd actually just sit back and blow the board up. I think that makes sense. I'm just so terrified of like things like AR and hand security, but I was pretty sure that's not the kind of deck you were playing. I thought you'd be on like a Lady Liberty type deck. All right, it's a daily quest, so it's not exactly this list. On 4 credits, honestly, I think we could consider contesting this. On 4 credits, what can they res? Or 3 credits now, mind you. Right? Unfortunately, we didn't throw out the paperclip, but like we could always paperclip run this. So I think the worst case scenario here on 3 credits, I'm expecting specifically an Enigma. So because of that, I think we're just gonna drop the Black Orchestra and run, because we don't want this to stick. And I don't know what barrier they play on 3 credits. Oh wow. Okay, never mind. A vanilla. Okay. All right, we'll install all our breakers. I think throwing out the MK Ultra was the worst option here. So now if there is the Enigma, we can't get in. Just press the money button, then APOC, then repeat. Yeah, it looks like it. We're losing a lot of value now playing these at the bin. We might have just wanted to actually set up and get them into bin and not do like this. Now we're really forcing them to have something here. And a lot of times they do run really expensive ice. They could also just like use their AgInfusion ability, which might be worth doing. I think it's worth doing. Won't have money to trash? No, we will. Oh, no, we won't. But we'll gain 2 credits and stop them from gaining 3. So, sort of. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it turns it off. Like, it's still worth doing. Because it's still a 5 credit swing. Credits will trigger after. Yep. You won't get money now, though. It's more BM not to trash. Yeah, I've seen some people not trash this. Because we get the 2 credits when the runner makes a successful run, so we actually do get the money before you, while you're still able to trash it. So if you access with 1 credit, you can trash it. So technically what Dave wrote is not correct. Credits will trigger after. Doesn't exactly work like that. Psychic damage. It's all advanced. So that looks like an NGO front. Which means they could res for 9 credits here, which would be a fair bit. That's an Anansi and a bit. I think we're okay tanking the Anansi because we have the I've had worse. I'm going to Deuce's Wild first, which might be wrong. So I think we just overclock server 1. I think we overclock server 1. Man, you love to overclock these out. Technically credit positive, not counting installs. Yeah, technically it was credit positive. Technically. DNA tracker is 9 to res or 8? It's 8 to res. Both Anansi and DNA are 8 to res. But DNA tracker is 6 strength on code gate, while Anansi is 5. Breach server, get him. Oh, it was a macrophage. Okay, so we're just gonna go back. So now their server really fell apart. We didn't get to use all our money. I should have hit that button the first time. And honestly, we can just do this again because we are making money on this. It's like clicking for a credit, but psychic damage. I'm okay clicking for the credit here. Server 2 also, in theory, could be an agenda. They could do credit score, but it looks like the macrophage seemed bad. The NGO front is what it looked like. But that could have been a very brave score out. I don't think they had to pop that there for what it's worth. Not that we probably have economic denial. But you can just leave it on the table unless you're going to play like a hedge fund or something. A spin doctor, okay. That's fine. We'll probably bring back these 2. And there is a sprint, last click, okay. So filtering into filtering. And again, if we just pressure their money down, we can like set up Stargate. But again, what we want to do is Apocalypse them. So we're going to try and stick to that plan as much as possible. Speak of the devil, it's there. They're not doing anything very quickly. So we're going to just do something slowly as well. We have access to, it's really important that we end up finding our into the ashes or out of the ashes, whatever it's called, because we'll probably need it to make a couple runs. I think also this is a matchup where the Deuce's Wild is probably a bit worse than the Pawn Shop because they can likely rebuild. Like this deck generally runs like 20 ice sometimes. Yeah, this is running 18 just because unresed ice is actually very valuable for the list as well because they use it as fodder. Will we I've had worse? Will we I've had worse here? I guess I don't want to give them the opportunity to res. Yeah, well, I've had worse. Oh, that's an awkward hand. Mosh? We don't have one, though. The next luck set to rotate is at Honor and Profit. Honor and Profit already rotated out, Chris. The next one's going to be Order and Chaos. This is a very awkward hand. I think if anything, we like overclock server 1 for better or worse, but it's like not great. Ooh, what do you do here? What do you do here? So we definitely throw out 2 breakers. That puts us on 7 cards. I don't want to overclock server 1. I don't want to run HQ and just get a res. So you end up binning something. I don't want to bin an Apocalypse. I guess we can bin a labor rights, but if we lose every labor rights, like we lose the game usually. So we probably throw out a Stargate. That's our last Stargate too. I guess we labor rights our Stargate after the Apocalypse. So we can throw that one out, I think. Or the Overclock. The Overclock's is just like a 4 credit card during a run, which is a bit better than Sure Gamble. But we've installed 2 of our breakers. Yeah, that's probably, maybe. I don't think that's amazing. Toss Stargate can get it back. Yo, Janktivist. Yeah, I think maybe you're right? Like we toss this and then when we need it, we labor rights back because that'll probably be when we have no deck left. Okay, yeah, okay. So Econ seems better than Stargate. I can buy that. So they sprinted and spin doctored. So they might have one agenda in HQ. Again, we don't care as much about that as we care about just blowing up the board. Howdy, and yo, Armando, how's it going? There's our Out of the Ashes, which we can play from the heap, which this game will remind us every turn. And they have macrophage, so they're probably on sandbox, and CVS to some extent. So this one might not be a permanent solution. Waiting for Stargate after APOC misses a big opportunity. I think it does. Overclock is huge for being able to threaten the board. Yeah, I believe that. Dirty Laundry is not easy to play in this matchup. Because I don't want to be running. Like, I don't want to give them oh, this comes in with a virus counter. That's good. I don't want to give them opportunity to res. Oh, I'm not good enough at this matchup to know the value of the labor rights. Because I know you labor rights back in labor rights is. Like whether the Dirty Laundry is better. Dirty Laundry server 1? Yeah, you're right. That's better than throwing it out. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, I like that. Finish my midterms and stuff. How'd it go? You think you did okay? You found out you did okay? Okay, so we're just gonna get the money. Yeah, this is better than overclocking it because you actually get the money. So we clicked for 2 credits and forced out a spin doctor, but like, they already had good options there. Wait, what did they spin back in? Hedge fund and unseen. Okay. Wait, uh-oh. Don't you want them to res so they waste money before you APOC? Why are we in Fermenter? I have no idea. I have no idea why this deck is on Fermenter. I think it's because it's not a resource. But I don't know. This was like a weird surprise to me. But I think in our matchup, Eric, I'd rather install this than Daily Cast. That's for sure. I think I did okay. Wrote an essay on Romeo and Juliet, English major life. Heck yeah. Is that played out? Like, what do you have to write about Romeo and Juliet? Do you think like, oh, again? I haven't had to do that since high school. No. Well, actually, we could APOC them. They have 14 credits, so they can probably only threaten 2 big reses. Maybe we start poking here. Do we start poking here? Do you ever start poking? We have 10 cards left. Because, right, they res 1 Anansi. That's a lot of our money. 7 ice is a good amount to get. This seems really good. I'm just worried we don't have enough money to get through everything. Like, I just want to click for 4 credits. No poke. Okay. Like, I just want to click for credits here. No poke. Only APOC. No poke. Okay. All right. I buy it. We'll do the Timmy Wong special here. Go ahead. Advance a card. What's the lore in APOC? I don't know. You can pop the fermenter if you're going to APOC. Yes. Oh, yes. If you're going to APOC this turn. I see what you mean, because we're losing money. Well, let's threaten it. Hope they don't purge and click it the turn before we APOC. I'm not going to click this, apparently, unless Out of the Ashes really works. So we want to run a server that... It doesn't matter. Wait, it does matter, because they can pop this to put us somewhere else. So we want to run the server that has the weakest outermost dice. I don't know. R&D? Most people in my class think that, but I was not the best high school student, so worth the revisit. That's cool. That's a redemption arc. People like those. It's a mind game. We break that for 3 credits. Or if you and the runner spend a different number, choose another server. Ooh, a mind game. I'll just break it. We could actually just fill that fire unless they put us on server 1, which might be bad for them. But they're not actually spending money on this, which is unfortunate. Honestly, probably should trash this. I don't know what sort of math, how much we're going to need. I'm going to pop this before macrophage. Oh, we can't. We literally can't because we have to run a couple times. But trashing that is good because obviously then they can't recur ice. Okay. Yeah, we're probably going to lose the money. I just might. You should trash it, but then we're not going to get our trigger because they're going to throw us on the DNA tracker and we can't APOC. We probably should have not ran here and we should just gone through the mind game. Now we're way too far. You got a free run? Yeah, but we need AgInfusion. Like now we're beyond the pale. So now we have to commit to it. Because now we just pay 9 credits to access HQ. Which is not right. And now once we run archives, we're going to be running HQ again. That's another 9 credits. So I don't think we can APOC this turn. How? Oh man, Thimblebrig's so annoying. Wait, do we just end the run here? No, we have to threaten the APOC, I think. I just broke it on the wrong step. They could move the thimble rig. Honestly, even spending 6 here, like we. Okay. So before we go ahead and tilt too hard, I don't know about that. I don't know. We'll see. Before we like tilt too hard, okay, so we run archives. We have to break the thimble rig. Then if they don't goof it up, they use AgInfusion to put us on the DNA tracker. Now, we would not have enough money to break the DNA tracker, and we'd be in a bad spot. They can't AgInfusion? Why not? Yeah, they can. No, it's not. We encountered the outermost, but they can trash any unresed ice. Right? When you approach an uniced. Yeah. So like we can get through the thimble rig. Now they might forget that. And then we run through the thimble rig again, hoping your opponent goofs up. We pay 3, they move it here, we pay 3, and we have exactly enough. But I think we've spent now way too much money. And I think now we just have to contest server 1. I think our play is Fermenter server 1. And feel really bad about this. The best thing we got going on is Stargate here, I'll be honest. You can't actually APOC this turn if DNA fires. If DNA fires, we will not be able to APOC, exactly. So if they use their ability correctly, which we're gonna just, you know, assume that they're able to do that, we're done. So I'm just gonna hit this button and run server 1, so no APOC. Fun of being on Blords and facing 3 subs. Yeah, I know. Even this, like 3, 6, 9, like you can make this so expensive to APOC. Like with this one ice, they can make it a 15 credit before APOC. This does not look like an agenda. This is an NGO front. Likelihood of server 1 being an NGO, 100%. I don't think we can win this unless we play really, really, really slow and just keep clicking for credits. Well, the Bryce say R&D is super cheap to run currently. It's not bad, but I don't want to put the Stargate down and then contest, because then even running archives is difficult. Like I think this is the sort of deck where we get to the bottom and just labor rights and liberated accounts and just do very little. Yeah, this is not an easy matchup. We're on sure gamble. We have one more sure gamble. I'm gonna do this. Oh wait, we have only 1 click left. Oh, this is what worth doing. Expose 1 ice and make a run. Why didn't we do that? That's a good thing to do. That seems very valuable. Because we could have known where to run. We also don't know what this moved, so we don't know what this is. But they're on 10 credits again. Stargate lock looks nice now? I don't think so. I just threw it out. You might need a pivot. Maybe at this point we needed to pivot to Stargate. And I just threw it out. But like, let's think about this. To APOC, we're going to have to spend at a minimum 3, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, like a 24 credit APOC. So yeah, maybe Stargate was the right thing. We have no more Stargates in the deck, but we have 2 of these bad boys. Oh, never mind. How are they going to win? What's the remote server? They're spending all these resources, icing up Omar. Yeah, Thimble Rig's so annoying. 3 credits to break this thing. We don't have an Amakua. Okay, well, APOC is now totally off the table. Okay, so this is going to draw us down to 2 cards. This will draw our whole deck. Okay. Okay. I think we just credit and then start rebirthing next turn. Just credit up, face the DNA tracker on the remote runs. Yeah, I know. I think we just have to camp the remote now because I don't understand what their win strategy is. We took down 1 spin doctor. They have another spin doctor. They're running things like sprint as well. It looks like they have a Charysium on archives. They've played 2 NGO fronts, 2 hedge funds. Oh, it is there. This is not the list, is it? No, it's not. And they have a Chiashi on the outside, which is honestly like cheaper to us to break than DNA tracker. So I don't think that was good. But they did de-res a vanilla in a mind game, and those are actually worth doing something. Maybe it's clearinghouse? It could be. Yeah, divert power lets you de-res cards. They actually can probably safely score Obokata. Yeah, we would not contest Obokata. This deck is actually really bad at dealing with Obokata. Like, very bad at dealing with Obokata. But this Chiashi, honestly, is cheaper than the DNA tracker. Okay, well. Here we go. I think sometimes we want to do Rebirth. Oh, I'm not good at this. I was not ready to play late game Max. I was hoping we just Apox and put that in Stargate. I think we have to put that in the Stargate. And I think we need a Rebirth to stop milling our deck. I just don't know what order we have to do what. Maybe we play Deuces to draw the rest. Yeah. What does Stargate do for you here? Has a chance of putting enough pressure on that they can't deal with R&D and server 1. It's the best we got. It's the best I know. But we want to do it later in a turn. How do you steal from archives? We don't. Like we grind the game out to a point that they can't win. Because you're right, Yusengan. I don't know how to steal from archives. But yeah, I think we have to get them to a point where they can't win. Never mind. It's a draw. If it's a draw, who wins? Nobody. Technically, who has more agenda points wins. And we know there's an Obokata in HQ. But we just can't steal Obokata. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna get impatient. We also can't even install we can't install every program now that we have our Stargate down. Like, we're gonna run out of MU. The viewers win. The viewers lose if we go to a draw. Oh, it's an Anansi. They're on 0. Yeah, we can't abuse that. And they can res their goddamn mind game. Okay. Okay. Can you draw without going to time? Yes, you can remove... Well, no, not really, because even if I remove all the agendas for the game, the corp is eventually going to deck out. So no, not really, I don't think. Are they going to res the mind game, or are they going to throw us onto the Chiashi server? I think we have to jack out here. I think we have to jack out. Seems like my memory's better than before. Found the controller. What's the best way to contact you? Oh, yo, hit me up at metropolgrid@gmail.com. That's greatly appreciated. Is the museum legal in Eternal? Yes. Yes. So we have to jack out here. Otherwise, they put us into the Chiashi, which is going to be 7 + 4, which is 11. We're 1 credit short. So we have to jack out. I hit the button. I think we concede. Because this is not going to be fun. They can't play anything else than 0 in the side game. Oh, but they can use this, the AgInfusion ability, to throw us onto the Chiashi, and then we take 4 net damage and we have no more cards for the rest of the game. I'm not worried about the mind game. I'm worried about the AgInfusion ability. Because in theory, to run this remote, we need 4 + 7 or 9 + 9. Like, we need 18 credits. I think we're just going to concede because this whole game is going to come down to, like, can we drag out the remote or not? And I don't want to do that. This ice setup? Yeah, I know. This is ridiculous. I love it has one of each type, so like we still have to have all breakers. Rebirth into null, hit the concede button. Yo, yeah, we can like really goof up someone's stats. Okay, hold on. Whose stats can we like artificially lower so that the people who balance this game can look at the JNet stats and think, we really need to buff Omar. Who's gonna lose today? Wizard. That's a game loss. GG. You can't do that. Yeah, I got no chance. Get him. 3 oboes. I can't deal with those either. Oof, snare too. Jesus. Did they see us coming? We really cannot interact with snares and oboes. This deck cannot. And that's honestly a good thing to deal with like Virus Max. Virus Max is really bad on access damage. They gain 42 credits, we get 48 credits, we gain 92. Yeah, we have no chance. It's good that there's a game loss button though. It's right here. Thanks for the game, eh? All right, we're gonna actually play this deck or something like this deck, but yeah, I don't know what their win con was. Like they did not have one for a long time, and it might take them a while to get there. Admittedly, anytime we run this remote, like we have to pay a minimum 11 and then run it again. You excited for Metroid Dread at all? I think I remember you saying you play games mostly on PC though. I have never played a Metroid game. I played a lot of Metroidvania games, and I know people love like Super Metroid. I just never understood it. Of course, thanks for awesome announcing. Oh, have you doing Worlds too? Oh, oh, cheers. I don't know. That's in Nisei's court. We haven't talked about. I'd definitely be interested, though, for sure. AgInfusion is a shell for on-cell ganked. Everything is a shell for on-cell ganked. Actually, this one does have ganked in it too, which makes me very, very excited. We're just gonna have to drop the magnets to play an on-cell or whatever. Hey, cheers, you too. Thanks. All right, cool, let's do it. All right, so this is a deck that was posted, Chenchling posted this, even at the end of our stream on Sunday, we streamed on Sunday. And this is a really cool list because it plays a lot of like interesting cards, and there's a lot of like every once in a while you see decks that I think are, I'm going to call them the breakthrough decks. And while I don't know if this is a breakthrough deck in terms of like very well positioned in the meta, very good deck, I think there's learnings from this deck that people might be bringing to other decks going forward. And I love that. That's really exciting when somebody does something fresh and new and then very like confidently says, I think this is better for this reason. And then you can talk on it. Best Ganked channel on YouTube. Yo, every week we have to just get someone upset about Ganked, unfortunately. So AgInfusion is a strong ability. Again, we saw how strong it is, and like we really cared about powerful run events. And this, when this ability came out, it was never like too prominent in the meta, but the ability for you to reroute and stop any individual run is a really big deal when there was like very strong run events back in the day. Things like account siphon, you could just say I'm going to trade an ice and then account siphon doesn't land. Obviously there's drawbacks to that. We run a lot of ice, and a lot of our ice too is stuff that we're happy not rezzing if we don't need to. Like we can get away with 3 vanilla macrophage in a glacier deck because past the early game, they're probably not worth rezzing. Sometimes the macrophage is, mind you, we're running sandbox and it's matchup dependent, but we can always just say, oh, it's derezzed, go run the Chiashi or whatever. On top of that, this is, I think, where the big breakthrough is that I'm really excited about. Maybe big is hyping it up too much, but we saw in the last deck that deck ran Daily Quest. And Daily Quest is, I think, a 3 influence card and actually has a lot of drawbacks. We saw in that matchup that the Daily Quest kind of failed the corporation. They had to protect it. We were actually gaining money off of it, not like a good amount of money, but it was difficult. They spent influence on it. It's something also that stays in the remote server until you overwrite it, which can be awkward sometimes. I know I play yellow decks and always put it in too early or too late, however you want to think about it. The idea is like Regolith is basically an influence-free daily quest. It's not click list, but you can empty this a lot sooner, and it technically has a higher trash cost when it's accessed installed, and that's pretty good. That you can shave off 6 influence from this deck and still have a card that you can install face down and not feel terrible. If it's a trap, I guess you could still do that with daily quest, but this you actually can get paid off pretty quickly. I like this card. I think it's fine. I like Hyobu and Egg, underrated card. Might not fit here though. Hyobu precog manifold, the current, because I thought you talked about the ID and I was confused for a second. I think there's another Hyobu card too, right? Super Metroid is a great game, but it's a bit weird to get back into. I think Zero Mission is a much better Metroid to try and vibe with IMO. The 3D ones also kind of looked fascinating, but they looked very, and I think it's by design, they looked very lonely and quiet. But I think they were meant to be this sort of meditative action game, exploration game. Yeah, the lockdown. Yeah, the lockdown is cool. And but I think in this deck, I don't know how often we're scoring 5-3s, but without any sort of support, like what's it called, Lacosta, I wouldn't be excited to play it. I have 1x Konjin in mind. The Konjin seems fun. Konjin seems really expensive, and you kind of can do Konjin anyways with AgInfusion. But if a list is running Chiashi and DNA Tracker and Anansi, yeah, Konjin seems relevant. The other cool thing this deck does, and like this card shows up every once in a while in cute decks, and while it definitely does something, it like even in the last matchup where this did something, I'm not convinced the thing that it did was that impactful, right? Like it just basically rezzed the Chiashi for cheap, let alone rezzed it on the outermost, which is actually pretty important in this matchup, and de-rezzed some of the lower cost ice to make them AgInfusion triggers. All of that stuff together, I think, does make this card relevant. There's some other cool tricks with it. You can like refill a Regolith mining campaign. You can redraw 2 cards with Spin Doctor. Doctor. You do have some zero cost cards like Vanilla, Anoetic Void, Ganked. You don't mind unresing, re-resing them. It does spoil some of the excitement if they don't know if the Ganked is there. But that's actually kind of cute. And this can be an economic card, because you do want to get some of your big ice rezzed on the outermost, so you can do it all in one turn. So I'm actually a big fan of it for one of the cute cards that people try and jam into their Spark decks with or without success. But it seems relevant here. We also have 2 Sprint, which, you know, if we might be a slower deck, this stops us from drowning in agendas. And then we have some really good ice. A single border control might be overkill on top of the single Nisei Mark II and their AgInfusion ability, but obviously such a strong card, no doubt about that. We have 17 influence. We have Chiashis and Vanillas, the 2 opposite extremes of the barriers in the standard format. We have DNA Tracker. We have Magnet, which is a really good ice in some matchups, and you don't have to res it, in theory, ever with AgInfusion. We have Thimble Rig, which is just really good against everything besides Turtle, and then some Anansis, and that's it. And I think this looks like really strong. I'm really excited to play it. AgInfusion does, I think, is trickier to play than something like Palana. Palana, just remember to get your credits and you'll be fine. And this you actually have to plan, which seems really fun. There's also some other cards we could play. People talking about Konjin, which is wild. We can play Konjin. I think you could also consider playing what's it called? Sandstorm? Darude's Sandstorm, which sometimes is relevant. Maybe this deck doesn't need those tricks because the ice is so good, but I think there's all interesting things to look at. I'm just going to import this into JNet and then update the tracker. It will be up in a second. Also, divert power to get a 30 credit regolith. Yeah, you could do it. I guess you could, and there's some board stages it's probably worth doing. You can actually use Boomerang during a Konjin encounter. I don't know what the text of Konjin is, but you encounter the ice, right? Right? So I don't know. I'd have to look at the text. Can you actually? Oh, like, what do you mean? If you Konjin encounters an ice that already has a boomerang on it, yes, for sure. Anything else I'd have to read. Boomerang has to be on the ice that you encounter. Yes. Jinteki faction for the best jank and bluff. The thing is, like, I don't think any of this is jank, and none of this is bluff either. It's as bluff as much as NGO Front is bluff, which then, like, enjoy your Acme bluff deck, right? But yes, traps are fun. Boomerang is on Konjin. It definitely does not work on Konjin. Let me read the text. I don't think it works because I don't think Konjin gains the subroutines. I think Konjin just says encounter that ice. So then it definitely shouldn't. /n Konjin. You could replace 1 NGO by Urtica and see the effect. Well, that's the sort of thing. It's like this sort of philosophy comes up so often, right? Like we have a deck in which it is so difficult to run a remote server. So there's more often than not, they will not contest the remote server on certain board states. And it's like really hard to like commit to an Urtica cipher when the runner has to deal with like a Chiashi, Anoetic Void. Like it just doesn't make sense to spend time and effort on a trap. I'd much rather run Snare and then like protect our central servers. And Snare is just really good in a deck with Obokata Protocol because if they hit a Snare next turn, you can generally jam an Obokata. But like replacing a good economic card for a deck that wants a lot of economy for a trap that like is very difficult for them to run. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's why my favorite traps are the ones you don't ice. You just do install advance. Unless it's like a reversed accounts, then I guess you're happy either way. They tragically be wary running with less than 4 cards in hand. They should be anyways. They really should be anyways because they have Obokata. Like that doesn't change anything. When the runner encounters his ice, you and the runner secretly spend credits. If you and the runner spend a different number of credits, you may force a runner to encounter another piece ice. I don't think you can boomerang it. It doesn't work if you're considered to still be encountering Konjin too. Wait, does it work? It does work if you're considered to be encountering Konjin too. You choose another res piece of ice and create a forced encounter with it. This means that an encounter ice phase resolves for the chosen ice, but the runner position does not change. There's still Konjin's position throughout. Oh, okay. And they will not pass the other piece of ice. When the counter ends, Konjin's abilities finish resolving and the game proceeds. So you can boomerang it? What a roller coaster of emotions. Honestly, don't know. But the advancements on those aren't wasted necessarily. Advancements on what? On the Urtica? If you divert power into big Urtica, that gets sniffed out, you can res something else for cheap. That is pretty wasted. Like playing a divert power to de-res a card that you've spent your whole turn and credits advancing just to save 2 credits is not wasted. But that's like saying, oh, I tripped down the stairs holding a cake, but we can rescue the candles. Like, yeah, I guess. But also, that's not a good analogy. Candles are cheap is my point, I guess. And you wasted the cake. You could have done not falling. This analogy really got away from me. I'm fine with that. Corp. Long weekend with my boy Andre. Yo, Disparate, how's it going? Welcome. The card does not seem to work for me on Jinteki. You can boomerang on Konjin, and while you're encountering Konjin, you can break subroutines on any ice. Should have brought the cake down the stairs, shaking my head. Because boomerang says you can break 2 subs on any ice, but only while you're encountering that ice targeted by boomerang. Doesn't say the subs have to be on particular ice, though. Wait, how nuanced is boomerang? Quote from Cephalopod Wizard, Rules Associated. Yes, boomerang targeting Konjin can be used during an encounter created by Konjin because you're still the original Konjin encounter while resolving force encounter. When you sell this ice, break up to 2 ice subroutines. So that doesn't care what it is. When the run ends, if it's successful, you may shuffle. Okay, use this hardware only on during encounters with that ice. I buy it. Did you just come up with the cake candles comparison on the spot? If so, that was damned good. I did, because there's not a lot of expressions about shipping with cake. But it is something I fear. It's like that sort of thing where I went on a bike ride today, and I have this lovely path behind the apartment. It's like a path next to a train track, and it's like it's a pretty wide path, maybe 2 meters, and it's a gravel path. So there's a lot of people on it, right? Like joggers, cyclists, people jogging with like a tram, whatever you put babies in, a stroller, and like you got to pass people. Right? People are pretty good, right side, left side, but you have to pass people. And sometimes you get close. And the idea is like 90% of the time whenever I bike, you know, it's you go straight all the time, right? Unless you want to turn, you turn. But then somebody tells you like go straight between 2 things, and then you're like absolute nightmare scenario. Like, oh boy, I'm so shaky now. Same thing with walking with a cake. As soon as someone gives you a cake to hold, question everything. And then you just get dizzy. Did you bike with a cake? Conception. Daniel, how's it going? Workman carrying large planes of glass, crates full of chickens. All of them are cake. Suppose a boomerang on the Kitsune card that can make you encounter Archangel in hands also works with the breaking the Archangel that isn't installed. Ooh, Max versus 419. I don't recognize this name at all. Hey. Is anyone else terrified? Best of luck. Have fun. Is anyone else terrified when watching the Great British Baking Show that they'll drop the cake while walking it up to the judges? I think that is like legitimately the part of most of those shows is that you have to present it. It's like, I know there's this one documentary about like pastry chefs, and so much of the, not so much because I don't know if they trained that, but like a lot of it is the stress of bringing the thing you've made, which is inherently quite fragile because it's made of sugar glass or whatever food is made out of, and not goofing it real bad in front of your peers. Well, that didn't get better. Born in 1921, he should be Homer. I love when people put their date after their name. It makes it so easy to know how old they are, and you can steal their internet passwords or whatever. Okay, opening hand. We got a DNA tracker. Probably just put that in front of HQ. Click for credits. It's going to be slow, but we need to figure out what Max this is. Virus Max. We don't have CVS, but we do have Magnet and other friends. We have double Obicot in hands. Good, but I think we can generally play his deck pretty slowly. We have like 2 stealables, 2 trashables in HQ. Just going to hit this button and do that. Remember one episode where the cake fell apart while they were walking away? It was so heartbreaking. Oh no. Such a metaphor for any creative endeavor. Okay, where are we right now? I don't know, but we are seeing cards that say virus on them, and we're seeing this card, which really says virus on it. This is basically a chisel that counts to 5 and 5 only. We see a Friday chip, so they might be trying to trash our ice, and double daily cast seems cute. I think we're going to spin doctor here. Probably should have done that last turn, I'll be honest. Okay, this is good. This is actually ice that we can res. Thimble Rig will get chiseled immediately. Not Tripano. We'll put this on R&D. I think we want this for our remote server. We'll put this on R&D. I'll put this on our remote server. It doesn't end the run, and then we're committing to res this if we want to put the Rashida behind it. So that actually might have been incorrect. Because if they run it, well, we'd rather Thimble Rig it because the Thimble Rig doesn't die to Botulus. Yeah, this is wrong. The Great British Break Off this week teased in the beginning that somebody was going to drop the shit on the way to the table, but it was fake. It happened after it got judged. It plopped over. They rused us? I don't know enough about the baking show, but it seems like we were rused. So they have a simul chip. Now DNA Tracker is actually, sorry, it is better against Botulus. This is good. We have done correct here. So I think we're just going to click for a credit. Hedge fund. and overwrite this, because I don't think we're going to shuffle back a single hedge fund. Maybe we should. I'm going to give that a no. Trackers inside ice on remote seems like a waste. Yes. Yes, as an inside ice, this is bad. You're right. But hopefully we can thimble rig this situation correct. Because you want your good ice on the outside. All right. Okay. Do we take a turn to purge? If we purge, we do some amount of financial damage. Unfortunately, we're going to have a lot of cards in hand. Ooh, and a macrophage, though. I like Ganked. Oh, Ganked. Oh, Ganked Botulus is just so good. I think we'll consider purging next turn, so I'm not going to plop the Rashida. I was hoping we'd be able to divert the spin for more cards. I wasn't considering it. They just piece in our time. They have 20 credits. They have 20. They have a lot of credits. Something's happening. They simul-chipped because they trashed a card. So I don't know whether we want to purge these. Again, this is a DNA tracker. Purging is a trap? You really think so? Well, now I don't want to purge just these two. I think we just push out the Rashida. It is a hive mind. I don't think purging is a trap with a hive mind. 36 credits. Okay. Okay. Good stuff. I'm worried about a conduit. I'm gonna ice that up. They used the simul-chip. We have seen no labor rights so far. They lost the Knob Curie. So we'll see. Again, these Obacadas are really safe in hand. There's another simul-chip. Okay. So we need to count the influence. So far we've seen 2, 4, I think 5 on piece. We also want to ice up archives because it's only a matter of time before they end up rebirthing. And we do have a lot of ice. They threw out a Sure Gamble, so their hand has to be better than Sure Gamble, which is not hard to believe when they've already 39 credits. I don't think they're APOC deck. Can't they run pretty freely? They can, but they don't have breakers. Like, the money is not going to be used in the normal way. You need to trash the card with Tripano. It has 5. Sorry? Oh, this is a Botulus, right? Where do we put the Ganked? I think we put it on R&D. Like, this is now looking really ugly in our hand. Because we pay 2. We can re-res the 2 Gankeds. Honestly, we need to draw into the mining. Divert power to res something strong they can throw them into. Yeah, I think that's like the thing that we want to do is we want to spend like 2 credits. Res gank, de-res gank, de-res gank. Evening, Andre in chat. Evening. How's it going, Parallel? Yeah, I think also like, I think Tripano is only, it's on a piece of ice. So yeah, it paints it really easily, which is a problem. We have Turtle. Turtle has strength 3. Can also use Void for divert. Yeah. Yeah, we can. But like, I think they're just gonna run out of cards. They're gonna kits all this. Oh, they're gonna Steve this. So they're coming HQ. Got him. I think we're just gonna purge because they're gonna run out of cards. Like, they're on the clock, not us. We do have a handful of agendas. What is happening, Kat? Welcome. How you doing? I don't know. There some sort of virus max. But it's an interesting brew, and we are running big ice. They're rich enough to just pay through the traces on the macro. Yeah, they definitely are. No, the macro will just be annoying. So I think we're going to purge here. And I think we're throwing out to divert power, unfortunately. Which is kind of like the thing that happens with cards like this. Yeah, the ice is good. Yeah, sorry if you believed in this card. I don't want to show them the Ganked. Andre just conceded as max due to Glacier Despair. Now he's trying to do the same thing to a new opponent. You learn from the best. Yeah, there you go. There's a Tripano. So once this gets to 5, it's already at 1. Oh. How did the player 70% credits combined? They played 2 pieces. They did do that. They popped 2 fermenters at 1 at 3, 1 at 5. And they haven't ran anything. They did throw out a sure gamble earlier though, so they're not like entirely indulgent. Did we just, I think we just jammed the like, at some point we just start scoring the Obokata. Because DNA ganked Obokata is good enough. No, they haven't run. Not once. Think you could divert it and de-res nothing to just res something? Yeah, that's true. That's true. They really want to go HQ. Oh, fuck. What's up? Oh, Nana got into the laundry bin. Somebody left the closet door open. She is neck deep in dirty socks. Nana, has you no shame? Get out. Okay, I think we're just gonna push this. They might think it's NGO. Love to watch 2 games of solitary. This is battle cards. This is everyone's posturing aggressively. Do you ever show Cat on stream? Yes, definitely. When she shows up. Ooh, don't mind if I res this DNA tracker. Strong hand. Yeah, I know. All right. Oh, this ganked is gonna be so sick. And if they hit the ganked first. All right, we lost the hive mind. This is fine. Maybe kill? Unlikely. I don't think you would ever not access the advanced card first. Okay, well, the DNA tracker's saved. So they can always like simulchip to deal with this to break one sub team, but this is going to do 6 damage. So, okay, they accessed it in the wrong order. Okay, wait, if they accessed in the other order and stole this, they could have died, but they didn't. But now they can't steal this, so maybe we're happy. I don't know. What did they lose from their hand? A labor rights, that's a big deal. They had an imp, so they could have dealt with the Obokata. They're out 3 Friday chips already, and they only have 7 more cards. Yeah, I think the right order, yeah, but they could choose not to steal the Obokata. You're not forced, but yeah, I hear you. Okay. Do we score this? Now the DNA is also live, which is good. Obokata is so strong, it really is something. I guess we do. We could also just like double advance it, put the void on here, but the Anoetic Void looks really bad with this hand. We're just gonna score this. Like immensely bad with this hand. Daily cast, I've had worse, so they only have 4 cards left, and we've only seen a single labor rights. In terms of influence, it looks like they're labor rightsing, yeah. Okay. So we should be able to count their hand pretty accurately. So they've got labor rights, hive mind, knob, Curie. So that's 2 of those is their deck. 1 of those is their deck. All of those are in the hand. Same trick next time, bluff another rank with the Anoetic. I think we just like install Obokata and double advance it. Oh, now with the hive mind, they actually can deal with the DNA tracker, but they can't afford to steal the Obokata. So it's either we push the Obokata or the NGO front. Oh, yeah, right. The ice died. Ah, I forgot about this. Yes, yes, very good. We purge here. We just purge. Because they need to install their console to get accesses, and I don't see them doing that anytime soon. Vanilla's pretty bad against Turtle. So they really can't steal the Obokata if they have less than 4 cards in hand. No, they can't. And we could try and score out 3 of these. So they labor rights again. So we know in their hand they have a Knob Curie. And I think they only have 2 labor rights. So Rebirth is coming in, which is fine. We have a Chiashi here. They have an AI installed. So it's unlikely for that part to matter considering that they probably don't have a deck left once they draw. They want to draw, otherwise Max will eat their cards. I think more often than not, we should play with our face down here when playing Max. Okay, so they did Rebirth Progenitor, which they needed a while ago on Friday chip. So they're rebirthing into... And now with the hive mind, they have to like install it on the simul. It's really awkward. Wizard. It is the Omar. Okay, that's fine. Be my guest. And like if they run even here, like not that's a good play. Like we could just jam him into the Modulus. Or sorry, into the DNA tracker. Excuse me. We could just Chiashi them. So they have the Knob Curie. Okay. Ah, border control. So we don't want to install in front of the DNA tracker, which is obviously awkward. So it's either we jam out the Obokata or we jam out the NGO front. If we jam out the Obokata, we res this, we'll still be on 8 credits. We need about 24 for Tuchiyashi, so I'm going to do this. And if they go in for this and like spend good valuable assets, or like not assets, but like things on getting this, they don't have a lot more things. They have, oh, they have a 3rd labor rights. Okay, so their hand was 3 labor rights. That makes sense. Or IA any other agenda, believe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe we should just IA an agenda, but I feel like we can just lock them the same way that we locked out the other matchup. Because they don't have real breakers. Like they're just dependent on Amaku and Bachalai. Bring back 2 simulchip, that's good. You want to do that generally every labor rights, but their labor rights has been awkward. Scoring a cyber deck seems like they can't beat it. They definitely can. Like, we'll purge for 0. Purging for 4 doesn't really change much. An agenda. All right, so it's double simul chip and a Friday chip. So the Friday chip is going to be their engine. So that's only if they trash something. Man, I've not seen anybody play Tripano, and I actually did trash something. It seems cute with Hive Mind. All right, so we can just toss them to the DNA tracker if we want, but then our HQ is open, which seems bad. So we'll res the DNA tracker. They're probably going to steal an agenda out of here. And they're going to draw with Steve. What can we hit here? A clone chip would be good, a simul chip. We hit a Friday chip. I think that's the last one. Ganked on R&D. Oh, I forgot we put a ganked on R&D. Oh, man. Ganked on HQ would be good. So now they get their Steve Cambridge ability, which is very relevant. So we need to put something in front of HQ, which is awkward. And if they steal an agenda, they won't get... Oh, no, they will, because Nopkari can put a counter on Hive Mind. So even if they steal Damaku, it'll be at 1, which can do with the border control. Yeah, the ganked is on R&D. And I'm upset about that. So now they get to choose. Look at 2 cards. Show them to us. Imp or Imp. We'll pick Imp. I don't know if we're playing this one well. I think we should be pushing it. They access an Obokata, which they could steal. They have an Imp in hand, so they probably just want to come back with the Imp. This DNA tracker is going to be a problem. And honestly, we could just consider purging here. I was asking, yeah, no, yeah, it's a ganked. Honestly, I'm okay with just putting the border control here, because if they run it, we'll throw them into the DNA tracker. And we don't have to res. Oh, you can't do that. What? Oh, hey. You can't move installed program to host it on something else. You have to put it there with the install action. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't like move your Hive Mind onto the progenitor. No, it's all good. Yeah, so that's pretty awkward because the only way they'll get the Hive Mind on the progenitor is like simul chipping it through. And they only have 3 more simul chips. Oh, that's rich. That is rich. That is a good card. How are they going to break all the subroutines on this? It's like almost impossible. They install... No, it's not impossible. They can install a Botulus mid-run. Hive Mind will use a counter. Then they'll use the Botulus counter and the Cookbook counter. No, they could do it. If we purge the Hive Mind, then it's impossible. Yeah, Anansi Pog. Anansi was like the best draw here. But they have a lot of work to do. I mean, they're an Omer. We still have 8 credits offshore in the NGO front, but like again, we can just play for the late game and they will deck out like they already have. So we know they have 2 simul chips in hand. If we were very clever, we could figure out the rest of the influence. What is that? That's the Imp? Yeah, it's the Imp. So that's going to keep a counter on it, which is actually quite terrifying because Nabkiri is strong. They also access the worst card to hand Obokata. They could have stolen an agenda, which obviously would have been better for them. So we got away with that. I want another ice here, just so that when they first run here, we just throw them into DNA tracker and say, sucks. But yeah, AgInfusion is like really hard. It can make it really difficult for you to interact with them. Simul chipping? Did they trash something? They trashed the Amakua, okay. So now they're gonna install something. I wonder if it's a Tripano. It's a Tripano. So this is at 2 counters. Once this is at 5, and it can easily get to 3 counters mid-run, installing simulchip. Okay, so I'm probably gonna purge here. Do I need to? No, I don't think I need to. I think we can purge next turn. Actually, we should have popped this and installed advanced the other NGO front. We shouldn't have been clicking for credits. Admittedly, it's another card in hand that's not like an agenda, but yeah, it would have been smarter. Friday chip is beginning of turn, right? Yeah, okay. So this can only get up to 4. But this thing is just, it's just going to force a purge every like 2-3 turns. It's not that much different than the Tranquilizer, but Tranquilizer can do something mid-run. Because you only need 3 counters to the 5. It's hard to get 5 mid-run. I guess you can always re-res also on Tranquilizer. It's not influence. Okay, so here we purge. We confidently just purge. Okay, and we have to start pushing out at some point. Admittedly, maybe we need another piece of ice here. If we have a divert power, we'd actually gladly res it. So next turn, we'll probably just jam out an NGO front. And again, the progenitor stops the imp from being trashed. But whenever they make an axis, though, they'll not carry to put a counter on either the imp or the hive mind. Probably the hive mind seems more flexible. They only have 2 cards in hand, so this Obokata we can just jam. But, barring the imp, actually, no. Without the imp, it's we can't just jam it. Who wins if you both do nothing? The runner. we deck out. The runner will eventually win. Oh shit! Of course they have that. They're just going for it. That's been in the hand for a while. Ah, the card that lets us do nothing and get away with it. All right. It looks like an Obokata. Obviously, they do have the imp counter. Now, this can surprisingly be a 3, so we want to consider purging next turn. We've fired no filtering besides the Jackson on turn 2 and we didn't shuffle, and it's turn 15. Like, our hand has to be entirely agendas, and I want to know if they realize that. Andre, I feel like you could have won 5 turns ago. I think you're right. I think we just have to give them an agenda and then just score another agenda. I think you're probably right, Kat. I think we're just like nuclear option, which is unfortunately a very slow option. What would you do, Kat? Would you just push out? Because I don't think they can break the DNA tracker that often. Want to try to score Cyberdecks for tempo positive purges? Because I don't think the tempo positive purges are necessary. Like, purging on gain 4 and just purging, like, the 4 credits is not going to be the difference between winning and losing this game. Keeping them out is. But yeah, we probably could just install advance the sandbox here. Can they even do more than 1 run with the amount of cards and credits in hand? They have 2 simul chips, so yeah, kind of. With Chisel, yeah, it could be scary. But now they're really like just jamming their moat. Yeah, maybe. Because now they're really committing to centrals. But now I really want to purge because it's a lot of value. I jam CB decks. Yeah, I think you're right. Once we lose the Chiashi, I'm really scared because Thimble Rig into Ganked doesn't do anything, and they can win off Conduit on if we don't defend R&D appropriately. Okay, so doing no math, it seems like resing Anansi is usually good. Because if they can't break all these subroutines, they die on the spot. Oh, they said GG. Good game. Obokata impossible to steal? Yeah, they'll imp it. So we won't steal it, they won't steal it. And they conceded. Yeah, so this Tripano would hit. They were restless. Like, they probably should just wait and jam their remote server. And maybe they saw that and decided to go HQ here. But I think the HQ run is right? Unfortunately, they knew they had an Obokata in here, but like we had a lot of agendas thanks to the game. Like, that's turn 16 or whatever. We probably could have just jammed out sooner. Oh man, I forgot we had magnets in this list. That would have been perfect. This is also such a nice card in this matchup specifically to divert power. But we haven't diverted yet. Let's divert. Fun game. It's hard to read sarcasm on the internet in text, but yes. We'll do another one. They had a cool deck. I thought for a second we had Crimp. They had Crypt. Did they have Crypt in the list? I feel like I saw Crypt for a second, but that just might be Tripano. I do like the DJ Fenris for the HQ pressure to get recursion. That list can get away with so much with just like a bit of recursion. I actually enjoyed it. I'm trying not to be. Okay. Appreciate it. I don't mind too if like you don't agree, if you don't think that's exciting, like let me know. Politely. Thank you. All right, things we haven't done. We have not regolithed. We haven't done that. We haven't diverted power. So those things we need to get done before we can, you know, retire this deck. We might be here all night. I'll be honest. We have a bit of news. I love asking dumb questions, getting smart answers. No, that's the point. And I don't think there's such thing as dumb questions. Finished a game? Yes. Yeah, they Anansi'd into death. Did you concede as max? We did. We really did. Jogging, how's it going? Can I shout out this write-up? I actually looked this up a bit and I didn't fully understand it. I think this is the one that has like the mirror morph like all sort of stretched out and weird. Good. So the idea is that this is meant to be a Spombo deck. I kind of hear it. It kind of confuses me. The idea is that in this format, this is startup, mind you, so you don't have the full deck, the full suite of cards. The idea is that you can score agendas out of hand aggressively by like red level clearancing a Basture Boga. So the idea is that you pay 4 basically to get this on the table. It's no different than Biotic Labor. And then I think that's largely it. I don't think this deck really needs subliminal messaging. Oh no, it's Mirror Morph. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's fine. The ice is weird because Engram Flesh doesn't do exactly what this deck classically wants to do, but maybe you just don't have as many good options here. You don't have Gatekeeper. You do have Hagen, which is nice. I'm not a big fan of Goldkeeper. I don't like Gold Farmer. Why does everyone love Gold Farmer for 6 influence? And Tranquility Home Grid just seems like you want a lot of them. Well, we can see it as a wizard. Yeah, thank you. I forgot about that. I haven't read the whole thing. I need to read into it because there's probably some tricks to it. But this sort of like fast advanced deck is interesting that exists within this format. I would probably sooner just Biotic Labor aggressively out of what's it called? Out of Precision Design because you can recur the pieces. I should probably not hide the deck with my face. Wow. But otherwise that's interesting. Can we play Spombo? No, we have Spombo in startup. Yeah, okay. One thing I do want to say, this is a bit of news, is Project Nisei, just today even, 16 hours ago, uploaded all of the footage from Continentals, and they even made a playlist that has some of the stuff that is Continentals coverage that isn't hosted on their channel. So I think that's specifically the stuff the Winning Agenda cast on the first day of Asia Pacific Continentals. We always have this link in the show notes. Let me know if y'all read the show notes, by the way. It takes some time to put together. I hope they're useful. We put the deck lists and links and stuff like that. But basically, this stuff is all here. You don't have to watch it on Twitch, and it should be here until YouTube decides that it doesn't want to do YouTube anymore. But it's all the way to Intercontinentals. Check the stuff out. You're not going to have it with the live chat if you want to watch it on Twitch, which does archive that. But it is all the videos. It's all great stuff. oh boy. So you can check it out. Did they earmark every COC violation in the chat? Hey, I don't know. Probably not. I think I would really be excited if Nisei timestamps their stuff. And I know it's hard because it's like a 9 hour and 30 minutes, but even if they timestamp the rounds, I think that's actually pretty useful to dig through. It's really hard to parse a 9 hour video. I should have laughed more at your CC thing. Hey, Dano. Going well. The notes are really useful. Okay, Visor, good to hear. Thanks, you too. Dano's always really pleasant. Okay. So, Akiko, late net running. Okay, so 45-12, again, 12 influence means the ability is generally the designers thought it was very powerful or for thematic reasons. So if they run R&D, we have to spend 0, 1, or 2. If you spend the same number of credits, access 1 additional card. So that basically forces the corp not to spend 0 wantonly because they can get punished. Our opening hand is actually pretty good. Rashida, Macrophage, not amazing. I don't know if they're going to run viruses. There are some like pressure virus R&D cards that kind of came out around Akiko. The Nyashia, something like that. Otherwise, Macrophage on R&D is like not amazing because they have Link 1, so the end of run's not great. But I love double Rashida. Dano G will not concede. Dano G takes their licks even if they're not. Like we've run into situations where Dano could have clicked through a loop, a gank loop, and like very vehemently did it, which I guess I respect that. Can you explain what these show notes are? Yes. 1 second. Let me play our turn and then we'll get to it. That's a good question. I'm going to put this on R&D because I think they're going to go that direction. I guess on HQ, like HQ is so ripe right now. So when I publish a YouTube video, so say you go to the Metropolitan Grid. Let's open a good one. Okay. You go to the Metropolitan Grid, right? He wanted that ganked, he did. And then you open up a video and then you go to show more. I have generally here the deck lists and then like show notes for links to things. This one is, there's not that many links. And some of the other stuff is like pretty serious. Whoa, Tycoon. I was gonna run R&D. Okay, cool. Those are what the show notes are. So if you're ever looking for something in specific, it's usually there. Okay, Tycoon, we are running vanilla, we're running border control, and we're running Chiashi's. I don't know if this lines up. This probably lines up really well against Chiashi. So we'll click to 7. Oh man, I thought we clicked to 8. I never knew about the show notes on YouTube. I'm blushing. I built some of these decks by pausing the screen instead. Oh no. I admittedly only started doing that somewhat recently. You can see 2 cards, it's fine. I only did... Oh, they paid 1. Nice. But yeah, you can check all this up on YouTube. It's all there. Oh man, they paid 1 because they thought we'd pay 1. Never respect a Kiko. And we get to get this off and then we get to be able to threaten to Resurrect Ice. That's great. Congratulations, you played yourself. Respect. Okay, Anansi on front, macrophage, DNA tracker. Okay, now we're drawing to stuff. But we can definitely chain the second Rashida. The question is, what do we want on R&D? I think we want to get them hit by an Anansi. That seems nice. I think we want something in front of the macrophage though. I don't mind if they break the vanilla, but I think you just put like, it's a kind of rough. I guess we need a thimble rig res to prevent them from getting too much value, because then we can put the idea is that you want your strong stuff on the outside and then your chump stuff on the inside, and you can get there. I should sub to Metro Grid. I heard that the channel has some quality vids. Oh, thanks, Grub. I think we just give them this, because then if they run R&D, we can throw them into this one. This is 6 credits, which they don't lose, but they lose a bit of their hand. They did have too many cards in hand. They also can't trash the Rashida if this fires, which is great. So they lost an Orb, the Maker's Eye, and an Echelon. That's good. Yeah, I don't think you can sub to this channel. I'm pretty sure you can't sub to this channel. Oh, yeah, they have no money now. Beth is going to be doing well for them. We're generally over 15 credits. And they have only 12 influence. We've seen 2 for Tycoon. Now we could actually divert with this Rashida, but I think we just want the money. We would love to draw into a Regolith. Damn, he's good. Actually, do we want to? I guess we do want to draw the Regolith, yeah. Yeah, we actually could divert power this Regolith pretty easily. So we want to keep this on the outside. I think we're just going to ice up Archives just with a chump blocker. Just so we can throw it, because now anytime they run, we can throw it into them. So I think I'm actually going to put something silly and cheap here on R&D, just so we can throw them into the DNA tracker. Not the Thimble Rig, we'll use this macrophage to throw them into the DNA tracker. But basically the majority of our ice at this point is just going to be throw them into the DNA tracker. And I don't think we need 2 divert power. I'd sub to this channel if I could. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, we can't dual stream if we do that. And I know we talked about like just putting YouTube up a bit later, but I don't know. Things are going okay the way they are. I'm stoked. Heck yeah. Okay. So we can throw them into a DNA tracker. I'm going to throw them into a DNA tracker. It's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use AgInfusion. And we're going to throw them into DNA tracker. Dano so bravely chooses to do this. Whoa, what is this? This is really good. What happened? Oh, because I was holding the text. That is super cool. I wish that was default. All right, they lost a Mind's Eye. Ooh, an Insight. They might be on Insight Top Hat and a Mobius. And now they also can't trash this one, unfortunately. I appreciate the accessibility of your channel with the dual streaming. Yeah, no, I think it's good. Like, I think that's super valuable. I think what I do is good. Excuse me. Yes. Yeah, I value that too. Okay. Didn't trash the Maker's Eye, GG. Wait, did I miss one? Okay, so I think we're just gonna hit this button. Interesting enough, like we just put Rashida and Anansi into a new remote server and make that into a DNA tracker. Like, I think that's fine. Like everything we do is now just a DNA tracker, which is so hard for this deck that is really struggling on economy. Did we just slow down? I think we just hit this. And I think we just iced something up. I like the Thimble Rig. They could just be on Insight plus Mind's Eye since there were sort of a Kiko themed cards from R&R. Yeah, I guess you're right. But this is only the top card, right? You can't choose the order. Mind's Eye is honestly a really cool console. Access as a top card for Click is quite nice. It is unfortunate though, a lot of the cards like Turning Wheel say only during a run, so you can't force multi-access. I'll just get Anansi on HQ. That's fine. This is gonna be another slow game. Don't worry, we'll try and push a score out here. I just want something that ends the run somewhere, because they are very bravely tanking DNA trackers. Proco drawing 1, not happy with it. This comes up all the time, but Mobius is a typo. This card is meant to be an HQ pressure card, and it's not. It's an R&D pressure card. Very interesting, because there's another card with exactly the same text that doesn't give you 4 credits, which is bizarre. The FFG blurb about Insight was basically the agendas you see will eventually have to come up, and then you can snipe them with Mind's Eye, because I guess they forgot the Corp can draw cards or something. It's hopeful. What's happening? Dano, you can't just keep running through DNA Tracker. It's not sustainable. It is strictly not sustainable. I feel really rude. This deck needs IT department. IT department needs to be put really far away. It needs to come out of the binders in which you've rotated them out of into the boxes, and those boxes need to be put in a boat and sent somewhere else. They're right though, to some extent, but like, I'll gladly trade one of our 18 ice for 3 net damage, I guess. It's like a naked man running into a thresher. Like we have so much of this ice. At some point, I'll just res a Thimble Rig and then use it to reposition our ice. Because like we don't have to do anything smart quickly. I think we should just finish this though and then jam an agenda. So I will res this and get it repositioned or whatever. No, probably not. I'll probably grind him out again, I guess. I don't know. Cast into the fire. We should recycle them. You can't play IT department unless you also hire a mathematician to consultant to track the ice strength and explain the rules on it. Have you all seen that? Somebody made like a nice like a rubric that you could bring to a tournament. And you basically, you know, like looked at X and like the Y and you use your slide rule, whatever that is, and came up with the strength. I can't believe that that card was printed with such unintuitive math. Maybe that makes sense for the theme. Or I can believe that the people who printed it thought the math worked differently and it was intuitive. I played Ninja AgInfusion in a snake draft and had dreams of Rover algorithm on Thimble Rig, but it never came through. Oh man, that's a really good dream. They're actually running it. This is the card that we're talking about, Data Breach. This card sees no play. All or nothing. I think we're just gonna give him the nothing button. Do we give him... Wait, we could have just gave him an Anansi the whole time? That's better. I own one of those. It's laminated. Hell yeah. That's really good to know. Wasn't the formula for a department something like N X plus 1? I think it was trickier than that, Janktivist. I don't think it was that intuitive. Can you kill here with a Anansi? No. Anansi can only do... Well, actually, yeah, you're right. Maybe with Ganked we can. No. Yeah, maybe you're right. Okay, so this is going to do some subroutines. Fire. No, we cannot. They're going to be taking up to 3 net damage, so the Obacatas are not safe. This is honestly a really bad hand. We can draw one of these, though. We'll do... It's unlikely for them to be able to steal Obacata. You may make another run. I don't think they're going to want to do that for some reason. Well, I think we want to score the Nisei sooner than we want to score this. I don't know. I don't think we're excited about any of these. I like the Chiashi a bit. Getting a free draw is really good, but I'm not going to do it. There's an IT department card in Star Wars CCG. It was way worse. It's called Brainiac. I believe and one of its stats is pi? I have to still win the side game. I love it that you think they wouldn't steal the oboe. I think they would steal the oboe. It depends whether they're going to pay 2 to draw 1 card. And it looks like they did. So they can't steal the oboe. We got another Maker's Eye and a Mind's Eye. A lot of eyes. I thought the math worked differently too. And it would just be 4 plus 3 if you spend 2 counters when I had 4. There's no way that it only gave 7. Oh, beans, equivocation. So we could pay 2 to force them out. I don't know. They can see the next card. I think it's a regolith into something that's not an agenda. Or an Obakata, maybe. Maker's Ice and no P good trash. Their deck is all just R&D based. I don't think they have any HQ pressure. But mind you, that could have just been like, we didn't have to worry about that. We could just throw them into DNA tracker. So there's, yeah, another one of those. I like those. What does, is the first is 4 and then the second is 3, but also decrease the first to 3 and you end up with 6? Kat, do you have the sheet? I feel like we need the sheet. Okay, Thimble Rig is good here. I'm just gonna, I feel, this is really boring. We could different. Not on me? What? It's not in your wallet? Come on. It's like a multiple unique nodes in the rules just for Brainiac, and it seems a bit much for a joke. Look up Brainiac for Star Wars CG. I'll look it up. Just hit exclamation mark ITD on Slack. Oh, that's awesome. Star Wars CCG Brainiac card. No, that's not a real thing. Okay, hold on. We'll get there. eBay? Okay. Okay, hold on. We're playing a game. We're going to do this one first. Thank you, Black Bar. Okay. So we can consider pushing it out here. Mind games. Huh. Okay. So we'll do this. I'll just put an Anansi on it. So now the server has a potential of being lethal. Okay, Star Wars Brainiac. Power is square root of 3x minus y plus 2a minus b plus pi. Minimum power equals 1, x equals dark side hand cards, y equals light side hand cards, a equals total number of whatever that is, icons apply, b equals total numbers of pi equals 3.141926. Okay, that is actually pretty funny. Was it competitive? Okay, whoa. Okay, so they're doing it. Insight Top Hat. And we have mostly agendas. As additional cost plays events, spend to click. The court may look at the top 4 cards of R&D and arrange them in any order. Now, I don't think this matters because they can't do it with the Anansi. And then they have Top Hat, so when they can run Mac. Choose a card to move next onto R&D. So we want the sandbox on top into the Nisei. We'll put the hedge fund analytic on the bottom. No, we'll put this at the bottom. We'll do hedge fund analytic sandbox. Actually, hedge fund should have been next. Because it's not trashable. So we'll put sandbox at the bottom. Do analytic hedge fund Nisei, because then we don't have to worry about paying 1 or 2 or whatever. It's pretty ridiculous. Okay, so they did Insight, and the idea now is they know where all the agendas are 1 and 4. So with Top Hat, oh, actually no, because equivocation does change the math a bit, but not terribly. They don't want to draw and add the agenda to hand. Is that they can run back. This actually used to be a very strong combo, specifically when we had cards like Mad Dash and cards like Freedom Through Equality, so that you could actually win by stealing 2 agendas in some games. For ID department, n x plus 1. N equals number of tokens taken off. X is the number remaining. I checked 3 examples and I think it worked. I think we're way past this combo at this point though. Actually, no, it wasn't competitive, but also allegedly saw play because you don't round pi, so pi beats 3. Why are they running this? Why are they running this? You can just res the thimble? No, we won't. Okay, now we have to rearrange the 5. I'm just not going to rearrange the 5 because then we'd have to think about it. I'm not going to draw. Yeah, the Thimble Rig seems good. All right. Now, if they lose 6 credits to this, they can't contest the regolith. I think they're 1 credit short, but I guess they didn't know what this was. Huh? Disconnected? Seems okay. I didn't see EDC. Okay. Huh. Weird. Normally it says that they disconnect, right? And they can't type in chat. I wonder what happened. If they never come back because we forced them into a DNA tracker like 4 times, I'll get it. Okay, sick. Why are they going through this? This kills them. You can't go through this. Excellent. They jacked out. Okay. They wanted us to spend some money. Honestly, at this point, we probably should just hit this once and then like jam his sandbox. I'll jam the sandbox because money seems a bit weak. Like, still to get through this, it's you know, a lot of damage. They don't get a free card draw yet with Beth. They do get credits. And Beth is a really good card. I never noticed that. I always thought that Beth just had a really good haircut and like makeup, but that specific haircut and makeup is to avoid facial recognition, isn't it? That is exactly like people have those, like you see the, I don't know, what do you call them, art installations or like social commentary sort of stuff, but like people do that, like the stripes going across your face, the high contrast colors, that's actually to deny facial recognition. I've looked at this card a heck of a lot. I've never noticed that. That's dope. I think we can find an image of those. Honestly, sprint is fine, but it doesn't seem necessary. Haircut, ignore facial recognition. Yeah, exactly. Like this. Beth's got that going on. That's so cool. Yeah, exactly like this. Oh, that is so cool. Good stuff, FFG. No Bocata, that's disappointing. Nor Nisei. Okay. Do we res a vanilla to throw them into? Why would we not res that? Because the haircut's pretty recognizable. If only one person has that. Okay, so we could just throw them on Anansi. I don't know why. Would they have sneaked or beta? I don't think they would have sneaked or beta. Just gonna keep hurting him. Fire all. Alright. Anoetic Void, Sandbox, Chiashi. So I'm gonna bury the Sandbox. Spin Doctor's not bad. We'll do, because next turn we'll just do Hedge Fund, install Nisei, and the fact that they're taking damage here means we have a window next turn. Anoetic doesn't seem necessary either. I don't know. I don't think it's that important. Draw 1 card, then we'll be on 7 cards. Yeah, that's fine. They have a lot of money though. I just don't know what breakers they have. We did trash one of their killer, and we trashed their Unity as well. So I don't know if they have like, you know, recursion, whatever. Are the dudes from the Beth screen from a card? I don't know if they're directly from a card. They kind of look like any of the like security forces. I know the people. What jogging that do the makeup? Something by the DMV. Okay. There's a trippy article in the Atlantic about wearing makeup to avoid facial recognition I read a while ago. It's gonna be a real thing you're gonna have to worry about maybe. That's so cool. Aurora Folney artwork. Yeah, exactly. That's a really cool little feature. Psych Mike don't care. Anyone can recognize Psych Mike. Psych Mike, okay, like if we want to evaluate card art or like characters in Netrunner and like possibility of them also being a Digimon character, Psych Mike is like 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. I don't know who else falls into that camp, and maybe some of that is because I don't know what Digimon is, but I feel like if I see goggles, Digimon. There's obviously the steampunk Venn diagram, but I feel like that's the sort of thing that we'll know when we see it. Makes me think of Nick Endo's makeup from Atari Teenage Riot. It was always there. Con is pretty Digimon too. Yeah, Con is like mechanically, in terms of like function, very Digimon. You're right. We need more like Beast Masters. Did not know where that was going, but I didn't expect that. How's it going, Neck Cooker? That makeup 24/7 picks up kids from school. Oh, you know someone who does that makeup? Oh, whoa, that's hardcore. That's really cool. I wonder how many times that's actually like, you know, made their trail run cold or whatever. Finished our draft league game for the week. How'd it go, Solomir? Oh, gonna rejoin. Bummer. Okay. Did you like Digimon? I grew up without cable television. We had like rabbit ears, or to some extent the 2 wires that you put into the rabbit ears and you just hold them. So the amount of I watched like a very limited set of television. So we didn't have a lot of like, we didn't have YTV, which is the Canadian equivalent that would probably play Digimon. So I don't. That's again why I know very little about Digimon. But if you want to talk about Stargate SG-1 or The Simpsons, those are on local access channels. CHCH. On that scale, how Digimon out of 10 is Hoshiko? Oh man, you're right. Hoshiko is pretty high on the Digimon out of 10 scale. She literally has digital monsters. That is pretty high. Now, if we were clever, we would actually know what's on top of R&D. We would know what it is. I'm just going to throw them into here so they take damage. We could also just not worry about it, I guess. We had it on regular terrestrial in the US. Digimon, Morgan? What channel played the digital monsters? Okay, so we might have lost the sandbox. I'm just going to bury the agendas. And our deck is a lot of agendas here. And we're not going to draw. No. UV blocker is more reasonable. Yeah, I think so. I channels 2 through 13, but I'm pretty sure we had Digimon and Kids WB. We actually did get Kids WB at some point on Ariel. That is true. Well, not Ariel, but like on Bunny Ears. The channels we had CH, we had CTV, which is a channel. We had TVO, which slaps. TVO is always a banger. We had, what else do we have? We had a lot. We had Omni, which is a channel in Ontario that like specifically caters to international like immigrants. They would have like Italian hour and like Hindi Sunday or whatever. I feel like I'm missing something. We had PBS. PBS goes pretty far. It comes in from Buffalo. We had 36, which was like a very Christian channel, but it would also play Fresh Prince, which I guess is like pretty Christian. But it would mostly be like Seventh Heaven and like really cheesy Christian. Not overtly. I guess Seventh Heaven's like pretty Christian, isn't it? But it would also play like Mr. Belvedere reruns and stuff like that. Why not draw some agendas with spin and bury them? Because we're just trying to win. Like we have enough. We know there's other agendas coming up. Like they have to break all of these, which they can, and then seal the Obokata, and then maybe we still just Nisei them. So it's gonna be hard. Omni sounds cool as heck. Omni was really good, and it played The Simpsons at good hours. It played everyone's favorite, Everybody Loves Raymond, as the name suggests. It was pretty good. I liked Omni. It also had a very clear signal because I think it was broadcast from Hamilton, which was right next door to where I grew up. Growing up, we only had local channels as well, but WB had Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, DBZ. Yeah, we did have like, at some point it was called like Fox Box or like Fox for Kids, and we watched like Fighting Food On and Ultimate Fighter, which are all... Wait, what is the name of that show? Is it called... It's not called Ultimate Fighter because that's UFC, right? But it was the one where it was like a fighting, like a wrestling league out of like cartoon characters, and there was like one character that was a Dick, which is a sick animal, and then there's like the chess piece guy. What was it? Ultimate Fighter was the reality show tied to UFC. Okay, so it's definitely not that. All right, they're going in for the Anansi. Ultimate Muscle. Thank you, Morgan. Yes, Ultimate Muscle was peak morning television. Like just the best morning television. We're just going to bury all the agendas. Actually, they're going to get one agenda, so they're going to steal the Obokata. Because they're going to force us to draw, and then we'll pay 2, I guess. We can afford to pay 2. This is the game I've ever played in my life where Anansi has fired the most. And they still have 9 cards left, which is actually kind of impressive. Fighting Food Ons was... It was good. It was good enough for the morning. I was always like way more into playing computer games when I was watching television on Saturday morning. So what about American Gladiator? We did not have that. I think, I don't know what channel played that. Spike, maybe? Okay, no worries. Foodons and Iron Chef made me love cooking. Oh, that's awesome. They got really into cooking because of fighting Foodons. Fighting Foodons, for those who don't know, it's like Pokemon, except instead of Pokemon, they were food. So there would be like a slightly anthropomorphic like bowl of ramen that would attack, or like oranges or ice cream or whatever. It was good enough. We weren't very discerning. Does not for it's gonna force equivocation. Was there a Canadian Gladiator? That's a good question. There are Canadian versions of like of those sort of shows. Like I think there's Canadian Amazing Race, if I'm not mistaken. And stuff like, I don't know if there's a Canadian Survivor. Wait, we gotta play a game. Oh, no way. Wait, oh. I forgot they had Top Hat. Whenever you access cards from R&D. So wait, they see the one after Top Hat? Lumberjack games. Actually, do YouTube that stuff. That stuff is kind of fascinating. Did you eat the living food? Sounds dark. I don't know. Honestly, did they lose and then you ate them? Interestingly enough, in the world of Pokemon, it is implied that you eat some of the Pokemons. 3 it is. 3 is an agenda. You cannot access more than one card ever if you use Top Hat. You cannot access other cards. Oh, okay, cool. So they accessed, oh, they got it. They got Psych Mike and they accessed Cyberdock Sandbox. So there's an Obacat in there as well. They got it. Good game. Pokeballs. Thanks for the game. I admire your bravery in the face of spiders. Use a Kiko first, then Top Hat? No, because I don't think you can access any other cards, so I don't think you can do that. Because it just says you access one additional, and yeah, you can't multi-access with Top Hat, so I don't think it works. So where are scoops? I don't have any scoops. What? I don't have any scoops. It was also the start of the era of the celebrity chef, so TV was very food centric. I heard from the crowd you're getting into the coming months. What? I have no idea what you're talking about. I really don't. I have no scoops. I know nothing. I'm serious. For real. I could go for the first run and then half for the second and third runs in the same turn. Yeah, you could go back and then you could see multiple cards. Slowbo Trails, Magikarp, the Taurus is a source of beef, Miltank, milk, all that. I also think what's the name of that bird? There's one bird that's like holding the thing that you're meant to cook it with. Farfetch'd. Farfetch'd has like a piece of, like it has chives. Just between you and me, if you are getting one, can it be Wayland or Utility? Yo, this is all up to Nisei. They give me whatever they give me. The duck and leak, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you want. It's a leak. Okay. Yeah. For Dano, in terms of like scoops and stuff, like I'm not directly affiliated with Nisei, so I don't know anything about the stuff they do. They do when it comes to like spoiler seasons. If I guess if I'm lucky enough, they'll reach out to me and say like, hey, we want to like talk about this. They'll tell you the times and dates and what cards you can talk about and other sort of stuff. It's like really well organized and great. Yeah, no, I got nothing to talk about, that's for sure. No, always a pleasure. Can you imagine getting into the voice acting business and getting sought after to do the voices of the food and food on? I reckon it'd be fun. Like, I don't know. I don't know much about voice acting, but the idea that you could do so many disparate voices that might be like small parts, so you can like really put yourself out there and take risks. It's not like, okay, this is the main character, we really need to nail something. I don't know. Maybe that actually does sound exciting. What do they think Andre's a Farfetch'd who just has leaks? What, Vincent? No. Farfetch'd comes with its own garnish. And it's very kind to do that. We're going to do one more. Maybe? Yeah, maybe, I guess. Gotta go start my day. Thanks for streaming. Yo, Jingless, enjoy the day. Tell him about Ganked 2.0. Yo, Nisa, Ganked 2.0, let's go. Or give me another ice that can install a card mid-run. That's all we need. Nisa's interesting too, like, because I don't know how it works, but I think they give cards to people that like they'd be excited to talk about. So like maybe, I don't know, maybe Nisei knows I like Geist, so they gave me some Geist-esque cards back in the day. That's cool. I also like Criminal. I don't know. If they gave me like a like Game Shaper card, you know, I'd be like, okay. But no, anything that they... Oh, get it leaks instead of scoops? Oh, I got it now. It just has leaks, I get it. Just interesting because all they do is say their name. I don't know. Yeah, no, you're right about that. I forgot how Pokemon work. Do fighting Foodons talk? Because I don't know if fighting Foodons did the same thing where they just said their name. Like, I don't think it's just a guy yelling burger, burger. Actually, the more that now that I've said that out loud, I'm pretty sure that is how it worked. Oh, wow. This was really not easy to look at, was it? A Foodon is a dish made fresh with the aid of magical item called a meal ticket, which unsurprisingly looks a lot like a trading card. A nod towards another hope for the franchise that never took off. There was no way that this lasted more than 3 seasons. The Pokemon ripoff of the late 90s went to some dark places. Drawfee did a great episode about fighting Foodons. I don't know what Drawfee is. It'd be like Vin Diesel with Groot, gotta convey meaning through tone. Man, I wonder if there was a voice actor that like got the voice for Meowth and then just convinced him like, I could do so much more if you let me say words. They're like, okay. Also, from my understanding, there's a lot more Pokemon past like the first generation that can talk. Like it used to just be Meowth, but now I'm pretty sure that character from Super Smash Bros. Can talk. That Street Fighter-esque purple raccoon or whatever it is. Drawfee is for most of the time artists who take your dumb ideas and make even dumber drawings. Oh, cool. You young folks get to put an old thing in your brains, didn't you? Could just put any old thing. Yo, it's on television, so it's correct. It's the only show for kids on its time slot. You'd watch it. Yeah, no, exactly. It was Saturday morning. You really don't got a lot going on at that age. Why are millennials so messed up after growing up with stuff like this? I don't blame that. I blame the collapsing environment. Tell me you're 30 without telling me you're 30. I know what fighting Foodons is. When did it run? For what it's worth, fighting Foodons is not a big part of my life. I've seen a couple episodes, but I'm glad that I experienced it because it seems particularly interesting. Oh, there's only 2 volumes. There's only 26 episodes. This is honestly... These are attainable goals if you want to really catch up on your fighting Foodons knowledge. I wonder if that actually like had an arc that closed. 25 is called Final Battle, so 26 might have been a bit anticlimactic. Oh, I want to see what year that was actually. Excuse me. Oh, 2001, 2002. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm also kind of worried. I know. One of my friends, his partner, pulled out all the Stargate SG-1 DVDs, and she's watching them, and I don't think he's into it. And I think Stargate SG-1 falls into this camp of something that I'm like, the television show, mind you, that I'm hesitant to dig up and watch because I'm 80% sure it's going to be embarrassingly bad, but like 20% sure it still kicks ass. Metropole Pog. Yo, Eons, how's it going? Welcome. I feel like Stargate SG-1 also felt Canadian, but then maybe that means that it felt like it was affordably filmed in Vancouver. My local group is meeting again for the next week, by the way. Oh, yo, first time in a long time, I take it, right? Because congrats, that sounds awesome. We're meeting for the first time. I need to shout this out every week, mind you, but we have a meetup here in Montreal at Silver Goblin Cards, or Silver Goblin it's called in Montreal if you're there. Which is a fantastic store. I've been going here pretty regularly to play Flesh and Blood. Honestly, one of my favorite stores I've ever been to play card games. And Pat reached out and organized something. We'll be there on the 16th between 12 and 6 in the afternoon. Come out. We'll be playing Startup only. So play Startup, bring a gateway deck, and we'll all be there having fun, which is really exciting. But for all those people, I see posts of people going back into person, and that's awesome. I'm real jealous. Watch SG1 for Teal'c and Jack O'Neill. I didn't realize Teal'c is like, I forget the actor's name, but that's God of War, right? And a lot of other really good voice work. I didn't realize that for a long time. Jack O'Neill is Richard. Is that Richard Dean Anderson? Because I feel like all four of them are good. Christopher Judge, yeah, that's his name. The movie was great. The show was not great. All I know is the show. 2 years pretty much, but the venue is still live. That's really good. We found it tricky. I know I've talked about this before, but we found it a bit difficult to find a place that will just like take the time and space to like put up Netrunner players, because it doesn't generate like obvious revenue for their store. Funny enough, and I'm not just saying this as a brag, but I was talking to the guy at Silver Goblin, who's always there running Flesh and Blood stuff, and I talked about Netrunner. He's like, oh, it was really good. Back in the day, I was super interested. I used to watch this YouTube video from Montreal. It's called like the Metropolitan Grid or something. No joke. He was saying this. And like, it's funny because I don't think back in the day when I did videos, I showed my face, but also we're wearing masks anyways, because we're indoors. So I don't think we know what it looked like. And then I have to be like, oh, really? That's my channel, which was really funny happenstance. But they seem to be really willing, and in some ways maybe even excited to have people come there to play. Do you have a favorite SG1 season? I don't think I know enough, because I'm not sure whether it was played sequentially on the channels that I watched. We would just tune in at 7 and watch whatever there was there. The episodes I remember, like there's one where there's like a black hole came through and then time started dilating very aggressively in their like base station. We've been playing in person in New York City for a while now. Hell yeah. Yo, housekeeping, my man Andre, just want to point out that I remember you playing Ganked before it was cool. I appreciate it. And now that it's so cool, we really know what we're doing. Oh, yo, actually, talking about New York City. Hey, Slobbery. Good day. Thanks, you too. Okay, Kim, gonna be destructive, might be an Apocalypse deck. Our opening hand has a magnet, which is relevant enough, and maybe we can just jam an Anoetic. We play this deck slow as molasses, so we're gonna keep this slow hand. Okay. We did get the gang back together for Blood in the Clock Tower in a park. Wait, that game exists? That's not a real game. That was a ruse that Quentin pulled on us. That's not a real thing. Okay, let me... Oh, that's actually good. We'll set that up next turn, so I'll just put this on HQ and click for credits. Mind the APOC? Yeah, I'm pretty mindful of the APOC. I think APOC can definitely happen in Lou deck. Okay, so Flesh and Blood is a card game that I'm really into. I'm not going to talk about that as much, but somebody told me the Jinteki dream, that they went to an event, or they've been going to regular events in Brooklyn. And they, after the event, you write down on a piece of paper about somebody you played a game with or interacted with and something cool or nice that they did. Basically, after your event, you nominate someone and say like, oh, this person did something good. And then the owner or the operator takes all the stuff together. Oh, they just imped Anansi and puts all those in a bowl. And at the end of the month, I don't know what they do, whether they take out the person with the most votes or whether they take out, well, they're trashing everything, or whether they take out one at random and they read them out publicly, and the person gets rewarded. They get some sort of like, you know, door prize for just being a dope person. That's so nice. That is honestly like the coolest way to build, what's it called? A group of people. I think that's so cool. It's totally real, although the game runner still doesn't have the actual physical game, just printed play. Yeah, no. It's just a PDF someone sold you online. It's sure. Whoa, okay, counter surveillance. This took a turn. Very common in the miniature gaming community, sportsmanship points. I had no idea. Oh, Randolph, I know who this is. Yo, how's it going? It's good seeing you the other night. Perfectly on 12. Randolph MTL is very likely to be Benoit, who you might all know if you've been watching this channel for a long time now. They got some good respect here. What is this, though? Counter surveillance. Yeah, I Visor. I think it's dope. I'm really into that. My paperclip is still in hand after that oboe. Admittedly, Chiashi, I think, is the easiest out of the 3 Titans we played for them to break. They didn't hit any breakers. They lost a Botulus, so I'm pretty happy just like scoring out the Magna Regolith. Keeping this in hand, Gank 2, means that Chiashi has teeth. It also sometimes makes it just difficult to APOC, so we're going to go into a new remote, and we're just going to hit the money button here. Actually, we could probably wait once, and then It's either like we click for one here. Yeah, I think we click for one and give them information. The other option is not to. You said that Flesh and Blood well, it's like Slay the Spire, the card game, which led me to watch hours of Team Covenant gameplay, and now I'm buying my first Blitz decks tomorrow. Yo, Gregory, let me know how it goes. I really think the game's quite great. Are you buying the Monarch Blitz decks or the Tales of Arya Blitz decks that came out like 2 weeks ago? But yeah, the game, I think the easiest way to describe the game is it's like multiplayer Flesh and Blood. Wow. It's like multiplayer Slay the Spire. It runs the same sort of way where you draw a new hand of cards every turn. If we res this, we can't block anything. I think we're just going to try and tank the imp. Oh, wow. Oof. Well, it serves me right. We are on game point. They stole another oboe. They got 2 paperclips in the bin and their obelisk. Again, I'm expecting them to also be on that criminal event that runs HQ and gains a tag. But now we have to play super defensively. Luckily, we're going to gain 9 credits this turn. But is that enough to res everything? Just about. Anarch Aggro, yeah, it's a tag me list on 40 cards. But they got value. They haven't got full value of their imp. I don't know. Tails, I believe, honestly just reserved whatever they had in stock. Okay, cool. I think they're both pretty good. I haven't played all the Tales of Arya Blitz decks though. I just picked up. There's only 3 of them. Oh wow, this actually will not be lethal, but they could win. If they hit the ganked, we win. So, one of 2 extremes. 1 out of 4 they win. 1 out of 4 we win. There she is. The lethal game of Tetris. Oh, this could be APOC. You're right. Oh no, they're not going through. Excuse me. So they had a knife at worse. So we hit the second obelisk, an overclock, and a liberated. And now if they run server 1, obviously we throw them into this. But I need to play like really defensively. It's APOC and CS obelisk, Lou. Oh wow. Are you sure it's APOC? Why are they playing extra hand size if it's APOC? Deuces. We're on 7 credits. I think if it's APOC, we definitely want to put something on archives. I don't know. They're probably Rebirth, yeah. You just played them? Oh, okay. Now I feel bad about getting that information. Interesting, though. And there's a botchless. Okay. So they could always tank 4 damage here. We drew into another agenda, which is upsetting. Huh. How many spin doctors do we have? All of them. Okay. So what are we going to do here? I think we start drawing 1. We don't need the Regolith money. They can't afford to APOC for a few turns. Yeah, that's for sure. We also have a magnet here, which we can, in theory, like try and res with the card that we still haven't played this game. Divert Power. That'd be cute. I'll draw once. That's fine. It'd be a little rude for me to spell. I just hate APOC. Yeah, it's okay. I don't feel bad about it. I honestly would not have respected APOC that big because I've never seen a list that's trying to do both of them. I guess it sort of makes sense. Playing Lu too, like APOC doesn't work. Well, it works. Oh, okay, yeah, there's the tags. We'll definitely trash that. Oh, sprint is good. We'll start with the sprint. There we go. So we can divert power the magnet, which is perfect so they don't get a free run. So I think we're going to trash this. Oh, they're not tagged. Excuse me. We can't trash this. So I think we will Regolith. I think we will res the magnet. If they run HQ here, I don't think we care that much. Anyone else have the Digimon theme stuck in their head? I don't know what it is. So I've been saved from this one. Okay. So they're probably going to hit this twice. Actually, that's a really smart play. I haven't done that enough with this list. And then we can divert power the turn after. I am worried about APOC. They can't APOC this turn. I will put something on archives. Maybe this is too good of an ice for archives. Do you think anybody bodybuilds or works out in the Netrunner universe? I know Cyberpunk is the gang focused theme. Eddie Kim is like ripped as heck. I have no doubt they do. Lou is also meant to be well, he is. Seems like he lifts something. Yeah. I don't know if we've seen any like really like specifically who else is really muscular? I don't know. Do we trash this? To prevent 6 credits, I think we do. Are any of the ladies really like clearly athletic? Well, I don't know. To be fair, all the runners are programmers. Yeah, that's true. With the ability to be G-modded, to have whatever body you want to imagine looking muscled is simple. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it doesn't say natural, huh? But actually, Eddie Kim is inherently natural, right? Reina? Yeah, I guess so. She's ex-military. She definitely has to be fit. But she's also a chess champion. Is that anti-fit? I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and eat this magnet. I'm gonna do it. We can put this in the remote and then like free res it or like de-res it to gain 2 credits. Is this smart? No, it's like clicking for 2 credits. We don't need to do that. I'm just doing this because we have to do this. Oh, never mind. I'm doing this because we haven't hit this button yet. And this eats the botulus. This is why we have done this. Smoke cut. Need to see your argument. I don't know. I feel like at this point we're judging people's bodies and it's kind of weird, but I think we started out nobly. Protein comes easy. There's a whole agenda about it. Just don't ask what's in the protein. I think like we look at that protein source and think it's disgusting, but I'm pretty sure in the future it's not. I wonder if also they're on God of War. We see 2 breakers so far. Thank you, Vincent. All right, so we still have the regolith. We have the anoetic brewing. Now hand is a 1 and 3 on potentially lethal, but they have 14 credits. This, mind you, is 7 plus 4. We haven't seen a hippo yet. If they're on APOC, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be on additional ice destruction. Doesn't make too much sense. And the APOC is pretty difficult as long as we have 1 face down ice. Because again, they would need 4 clicks to only run all 3 central servers. But mainly if they run this one first, it can get a bit tricky. We realize there's a super swole modded runner, disgustingly big. Big gains. Yeah, I hear you. That would be cool. Just like really push it to science's limit. She has a bit of a punch. I honestly love it because she has a realistic body type. I remember that conversation coming up specifically, like that the way that they painted her doesn't make her look like, you know, impossibly thin, like a lot of depictions. Sneak creative Edward came alter. Give me buff Omar. Let's go. All right, they're going to throw out 3 cards here. They have only 2 tags, but Consulting Visit is live. They got both MK Ultras in the bin and throw out the second Laborites, which is interesting. At this point, what do we do? If we res the regolith, they don't have it. Like, we could consider just jamming. By jamming, I just don't want to jam a global food, right? I think we can just play it a bit slow. Just a bit slow. I don't see how do you get APOC this turn, unless they have like the brain damage card and miss the APOC and still can deal with the Chiashi. Yeah, they'll be fine. We're playing just so absurdly slowly. All his cards are workout or supplement themed. Genetics are coming back. That's a cool Nisei thing. Macrophage, honestly, I like it. I'm gonna put on R&D. I'm gonna hit the money button. Why on R&D? Because we want to keep this one on the outermost. And this honestly sometimes has relevant subroutines, especially if they try and botulus something. We have seen 2 botuli. They only have 2 tags. They have 25 credits though. And that's the thing that's pretty scary. We could find an anoetic for R&D. A ganked honestly on like HQ might just look like it's a Chrysium and they might want to interact with that sooner. I think installing this on HQ is probably worth it. So we're not relying on them hitting the 1 and 4 and it like just really goofs up their game plan because it looks like a Chrysium on HQ and they might run it at a point where they think it's Chrysium and it isn't Chrysium. I wish we had just any agenda though besides Global Food Initiative because we'd probably put a Chiashi in front of this and just go. I forgot we were on a 6-point deficit. There's the card we were talking about. Okay. So it's going to be 11 credits to get through the first time. And then maybe another 7. They hit the ganked. Okay. So now they're going to hit this one again. It's only another 7 credits. It's really not that bad. And they already gained the 9 crits off of this. It's if successful. It is an expensive run. How expensive is that run? 18 credit run? They made 7. Okay, well now we don't have to install it. Shaper, eh? I wish we had snare in this list. I really wish we had snare. I don't know what we would cut for it. They're only on 3 tags. Again, they can see 3 off the top of R&D. This is a 2 credit run. Okay. Again, they do have an imp counter. They hit the Rashida. They're probably not going to imp that. They'll probably just trash 1, gain 1, draw a card. Yeah. Okay. They did miss the agenda. We could have lost on this spot, which is something I am only now realizing. So if they have an MK Ultra, sorry, a Black Orchestra in hand, they just jam in the remote and we lose. If they run this twice, yeah. So I don't know what to do here. Being down 6 points is really difficult. We have to play like very defensively. And I don't want to ice this up because then this on the outermost is really bad. Looks like they're going to counter surveillance soon too. Yeah, it looks like they are going to, but it's kind of difficult for them because counter surveillance is a run event. So as long as we have like an unresed ice on R&D, like I don't know how they do it. Like it's pretty difficult. I need another piece of ice here. Because once we have our 5th card, we could consider it install advancing the food. But again, it's like our worst agenda to score. Considering it does nothing. I think they're going to be more of a super sweet nice guy with focus being physically as big as possible at any cost, even his health. No man is an island. Besides this man, he is literally an island. Okay, let's go. Vanilla. Drat. So, I think we just jam the food. They probably can let this one go. Himbo Byroid? We have that. It's Adonis campaign. Croc 2489. Alright, they probably let this one go. It does also to some extent look like an NGO front, now that we need the money. Up to 7, 4 tags, again. Consulting visit, or sorry, counter surveillance is pretty difficult to play here. They only have 17 hit points left. Not that it matters, because 2 uppercuts are out, so the last uppercut kind of matters, but again, if they steal it and win, they win. Shoot, of course. What happens when you trash the ice on archives? You encounter a peach of ice? Encounter my choice of ice on any server. But encounter is the key word here because it's past approach, so I can't res. But I can push you into a resed ice. Once you pass out at least 1 ice, you can jack out. Of course, yeah, no problem. Don't read this out. Okay. Yeah. So this is the idea with AgInfusion. It's really important. The runner is now running on server and encountering that outermost ice, and you can only res ice on approach. So if we force them into like this macrophage, we don't have the ability to res it. That's why you want the outermost ice to be resed, so that we can throw them into the Chiashi, and because they're encountering, they can't jack out. You jack out once you passed ice or on approach. So that's why this is strong. And you can only jack out if it's the first ice on approach. It's not the first ice on approach. Clicking for credits. It looks like they're going to try for that Apocalypse. Unfortunately, we've committed to scoring out a very exciting global food initiative. So I think we actually put a DNA tracker here. Sorry, we put a vanilla here. Actually, the macrophage? Macrophage is kind of interesting. Thinking. Because they really want Apocalypse. You can Anoetic too. Yeah, we could. I don't want to, but we could. I'm feeling like we don't need to. Obviously, if they Apocalypse, we'd lose the game on the spot. Unless we top deck like a Spin Doctor. And even then, it's going to be difficult. But because we haven't seen a Stargate yet. Whoa, Prey. Whoa. That Prey is really cool after an Apocalypse. So the idea is that if we put a macrophage here and they run to the macrophage, they have to trace through probably 1 or 2 of these, and then we could trash the DNA tracker to throw them to the Chiashi after the trace. I kind of like that. The other option is to have a vanilla and then vanilla into a DNA tracker, which is probably better than the macrophage. I think that's better than the macrophage. It's just having a vanilla and trashing that and then resing the macrophage. But this gives us a choice, right? Yeah, this gives us a choice. Whatever, that's fine. Because these are relevant subroutines. The trace won't end the run, like, sort of matters because they need to spend a fair bit of money to Apocalypse. Oh, yeah. That's really funny. It was on the plans, don't worry. All right, so they do have an APOC in hand. That's okay. If they run archives first and you throw them to HQ, you're still helping them? Yes, technically. That's why I like the DNA tracker as backup. Oh, we have a macrophage here too. Yeah, it's going to be tricky because they also still need to deal with the magnet, right? And I don't know how they're going to do that this turn. Right, like they have to double run archives or R&D and deal with the magnet, so I don't know how they APOC this turn unless they have like an inside job or like a backup plan or something. Yeah, I don't know what they do here. They don't have enough clicks that they Omar. Man, if this is a sandbox though, like what a different game. Purge, clear the board, gain, not the gain 4 is okay. Yeah, this is fine. Again, if they hit the 1 and 4. I love me some ganked. Have we used divert power? We have. And it was, we resed a magnet to eat a botulus. 10 out of 10. Anoetic. They probably will not imp that. Yeah, there you go. So it looks like they're committing to it, but they did this first, which is wrong. Right? Like, I think you want to do so, because if we throw them from run under archives into HQ, like at that point, so be it. Like, we've already ran HQ. So running this first means Apocalypse is kind of off the menu. Unless they have like click gained, but even then it's like inefficient. Man, this card's really good. Wow, they're going for it. So unfortunately we can't res this because as soon as we res this, we're like really weak to counter surveillance. But how are they gonna? Oh, they have a Black Orchestra. Oh, silly me. Huh. We could lose here. To some extent, I'm more worried about the single axis than I am about the Apocalypse. But they need a way to get extra clicks. Oh, they're over MU. Right. They just trashed this botulus. Cool. We're going to lose the single axis. This happens all the time when you go in for an Apocalypse and you just... Yeah, I see. GG. I don't think they would have been able to Apocalypse that turn. That always happens. Oh man, we got absolutely hammered off of singles. How many cards did they access? They accessed 7 cards. Okay, some of them were HQ runs. I think they ran HQ 3 times, and then they ran R&D like 3 times. That was pretty good for them. Yeah, you too. Bummer. Bummer. How many more agendas do we have in the list? 4 more. So there's 5 agendas and 24. It was a 1 and 5. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay. So we had a chance there. It's obviously really hard. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of bad luck. So if that, the idea is that if that fails, hey, you catch your hand. If that fails, right, they have to run archives last click, and then we use the macrophage to throw them to the Chiashi. They have to spend 7 credits. And that's why I think it's best to run archives first, because if we throw them into HQ, then they don't have to run HQ again, and they can still Apocalypse this turn. The question is whether they have another card in hand that gives them another click, whether it's the brain damage card, and then on top of that, they have to have 2 copies of Apocalypse to be sure. And if we res the DNA tracker, it's like another 9 credits. So they have to do this for 7, this for 9, even with an additional click, and then play 3 for Apocalypse. So it's very unlikely for them to Apocalypse this turn. Admittedly, we're in an awkward fork because then we have to commit to scoring this out. And again, I never want to score out a global food initiative unless it wins me the game, unless I have a fast advance strat on top of it. Yeah, then it's awkward because we have to like single advance this, install an ice, click for credit or something like that, which is not great. So yeah, it is what it is. Again, admittedly, we didn't want to draw the Obacadas. We didn't. We could have kept a sprint at some point. Oh, actually, we did sprint. We did sprint some agendas out, but I didn't want to score the Obacadas, so those would have been in hand for a while. So they can't get too upset that they stole them, I guess. Still waiting for this Wayland advanceable ambush. That's a hybrid of Divested Trust and Punitive Counterstrikes. I don't even know what that possibly can mean. It's a hybrid of Divested Trust and Punitive. So it's an advanced. Okay, if you have an advanced card that stops them from stealing agendas, you will build absolute poison. Because people will just build that and then just put agendas on the table. Actually, we're just describing, if I'm not mistaken, Lakshmi Smart Fabrics, but with less moving parts. Seems like a great deck for learning how to use ice intelligently, at least. I love these decks. Admittedly, I'm playing them incredibly defensively and playing them incredibly slow, and we probably don't have to. Like, I think this deck can not only score a bit quicker, but it also can threaten quicker. Like, a lot of times runners don't want to run because they understand, oh, this will be a Chiashi, this will be a thing. So a lot of times when I play decks like this, I wait until it's like, oh, I can 100% score, no doubt, as opposed to doing a play in some of the last 2 matches we played where it's like, oh, you can steal an agenda, it's fine. If you steal that one, I'm scoring the next one. And that is often a good thing to do. I'm just playing way too defensively where I play like, I'm going to keep you out of everything permanently. And you do not need to do that with this deck. That's for sure. Anywho, ow, it's 11:30. I think that's going to be it for tonight. We'll be back in a week. Actually, next week, Pat's going to be here and maybe even in person. I think that's a thing we're allowed to do around these places now, which is going to be really exciting because we haven't done that in 2 years. It's good to see Pat. So we'll be back on Thursday. Huge shout outs to everyone who's hanging out in chat. All the people we played games with. One more. Sorry, Hofcore. I was getting a bit late. I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow morning too. We'll be back in just 7 days. A huge shout out to people we played games with, everyone watching also in the VOD. Hopefully you're doing well. And that's largely it. Again, on the 16th, which is in like 3 weeks, we're going to have event in person at Silver Goblin from noon to 6. So hopefully you can drop by if you're in the local area. And otherwise, do check out Nisei put up all the Continentals footage you can easily watch on their channel. And I think there's also a playlist that has everything in it. Yeah, so again, there's a bit more in there as well. Pat stream. Yeah, no, I'm stoked too. That's it. Remember to pay your rent. It is the first in about half an hour. Take care, y'all.